65 CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. It's time.
You know what time it is?
The game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best.
Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. And now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
Shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, and acceptance. I don't know where we're at today, but I can tell you where we were at yesterday. It was more of an anger type show, right? So maybe we had moved past shock and denial. Maybe that's where we were at when Jackson was here on Monday. Poor old Jaisha, she had to listen to us. I mean, how would you like to know you were walking into that fire? As reality sets in, you face the pain of a loss. I don't know any other better way to explain it, but Alabama getting that butt kick 24-3. We're going to talk about it, but hey, thank you, Nate Oates. Thank you. Just a couple of minutes. We want to say thank you. Number 9, Alabama upsetting number 6, Houston, 85-80 in overtime. Wow. Good high energy, man. A lot of fun. Good to see Mark Sears after scoring the big goose egg. 24 points, 4 of 13, 12 of 14 for the free throws, but wow, Alabama. And really at times you thought, here it goes. And you thought it was going to be a little bit of a meltdown, but Alabama able to close the gap and just being able to take over, right? Nate Oates, thank you. We've, I guess, have we turned into a basketball school yet? Are we still a championship school? Is that where we're at? We've got Kalen DeBoer talking about it, the Iron Bowl and the big game, and I want to definitely get into that, but we're going to do a score prediction day. I warned you yesterday, we're going to have time for callers. We're going to have a lot of time for callers, but not as much as a typical Wednesday. So let me line it up. We've got Aaron Torres. He's going to recap Alabama and Houston. We're going to also preview Alabama coming up when you look at later this evening. We'll do that. We'll also talk about the Iron Bowl. We're going to talk about it from Aaron Torres from a national perspective. But I want to open up today's show, and we've got Aaron Torres at 2:15. We have also a chance to talk with Josh from College Football Nerds. Josh does as good of a job as anybody on our show of breaking down the numbers, helping us understand it from his perspective. I'm going to give you a practice report. We do have the Kalen DeBoer show, Hey Coach, starting at 6 o'clock, 6:30, Hey Coach. The Hey Coach portion starts at 6. 6:30, Kalen DeBoer until 7:30. We've got it right here on Tide 100.9. Hey, Wyatt, we are doing Kalen DeBoer tonight, right? We are doing that at 6:30, are we not?
So we've got a little bit of a shuffle. We'll hear some of Kalen DeBoer from 6:30 to 7, and then basketball pregame will take over at 7.
Which is the main portion, which is 6:30 to 7, and then they throw a player on and have a little bit of more of a lighter side. But that first 30 minutes, we've also got, listen, and just because it's Thanksgiving, I know Thanksgiving tomorrow, we're going to be here on Friday, but that doesn't mean that we don't stop working. I mean, because it's the Iron Bowl, right? So you got media availability during the coaches show, but you also have a media report coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll get an injury report, see if anything's happened this week that is significant for that. We'll have that coverage, Tide109.com, and we're also going to have it throughout the week. Now, I don't know if at Thanksgiving they'll release one tomorrow evening, but I mean, it won't change.
We're going to have one. We're going to have one Thursday, from what I've understood, which means that I will be writing that as well.
Yeah, and at least unless they trip coming out of the shower, I believe tomorrow's an off day. Right? I think they're going to spend a little time with Thanksgiving. Is my understanding. That's the plan that I have been told. Now that may have changed. I was told on Monday that was generally the plan. But Alabama going to be back on the practice field on Friday doing some walkthroughs. So we're going to have you covered. We'll have, as just, we try to do. We try to serve the University of Alabama. But I want to open up. Thanksgiving is a time for all of us to reflect, right? It really is when we look at Thanksgiving. And, when I started Sports Talk Radio, I could have never thought that I would be covering the University of Alabama, the team that I grew up, right? I didn't jump on the ship because Alabama started winning or jumped on. I went through the dark days with many of you, and I guess we now appreciate it. We look at Alabama Crimson Tide football. So as we get ready to celebrate tomorrow, Thursday, November the 28th, and we time of reflection, right? And so I thank you because every year this show grows, and it's because of you guys. It's because of you. It's because, when I walk in and I look at the call board right now, okay, that's a blessing to be able to interact with this many people. When I look up at the call board and I see first up will be Terry in Richmond, Virginia. He'll be first up. Robert in Mobile, second up. Bama Rick in North Carolina. Super Joe right here in Tuscaloosa. It's because of people like you that allow us to get to be able to do this, and we cover the University of Alabama with a lot of passion. We try to be real. We try to be honest. We try to be transparent with you. Things that we hear behind the scenes, we try to share it with you and try to present you with the coverage that you deserve. Alabama fans, to me, are the best in the country. I don't think it's even a comparison. I don't know if I could do this other job. And, I've had other people that have talked to me about possibly going to other places. And I've always said, no, I really don't know if I'd have passion. I don't know if I would have the passion, covering another team or having to split and pretend like I like Auburn. No thanks. Blue and orange doesn't look good on anybody. I mean, you could get the most beautiful lady in the entire world, and you could put blue and orange on her, and she becomes, not very pretty. Blue and orange is not a good-looking color. It is not. And you try to pretend that that's a color coordination. But I take just a minute to say thank you from all of us here at Tide 100.9. We appreciate you liking our pages, clicking on our links, listening to us, from all of us, Mornings with Martin Houston to Wimp and Barry inside the locker room 7 until 9, from Gary Harris. I know they've already said this, but just in case you missed it this morning, Gary Harris from 9 until 11, Wyatt Fulton, T-Town Sports Daily, and then the Miller's Edge, Christian and Corey Miller. And then we pick up every day starting at 2 o'clock. So we just want to say on behalf of Tide 100.9, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your day. We know that you have many different choices out there to get your delivery, but to trust us to cover the University of Alabama is pretty awesome. I'll tell you something really funny. So we say thank you that you allow us to get to do what we love to do. Jackson, I'll tell you a funny story, and we may get to the K1 board after Aaron Torres. You guys want to hear a real funny story? Last night I was on with Ward Manuel on the college football playoff teleconference, and my question had just got taken away from one of the beat reporters that covers the University of Alabama, just like we do. And right before I went on, you hit *1 and you get in line, and you never know where the questions are going to come out. And I'll tell you a real quick funny story. So the question right before me was my question, but you've always got to have two questions, because many times that happens. If you're on a teleconference, sometimes your question gets taken away, and many times the reporters are thinking the same way that you are. You've got that phrase, right? When you see Alabama pop up at that number 13 spot, you still say, hey, whoa. They've got a chance. They have a chance. They have a chance. Now, I know it's a slim chance, but listen, we've seen chaos in college football, and I'm not here to tell you that this Alabama football team could do any damage if they got in there. But I think when you look at it, to even have a mathematical chance, it's still there, right? Chaos could happen. So I'm on this teleconference with Ward Emanuel, and all of a sudden, they go, let's go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Tide 100.9, Ryan Fowler. And I kid you not, the minute I came on the air with my question to Ward Emanuel, my smoke detector went off at home. And it was like a nuclear, the phase. I mean, it was the sound that I'm going. And he goes, are you burning something? I said, no. And I don't know if he hit the mute button or not. I said, it could be the football team. I don't know. But anyway, but it was just kind of a little omen there. So it's a little crazy. So can you check? And we were not, listen, we don't cook a lot at the house. We're not very good at it. You got to know your weaknesses. My wife and I we know our weaknesses. We're not very good cooks. I mean, we can cook, but we prefer the other way. But we were not cooking anything. There was, neither one of us smoked. There was nothing in our home that was on as far as a
bad battery, I guess.
No. When we have the 10-year batteries. So we have the 10-year batteries in the smoke detector. So it wasn't, it literally went off. I guess it was just a little bad omen there. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it with Aaron Torres. Let's go to K1 aboard talking about the Iron Bowl, because I think this is one that we'll reflect on. And then we'll go to Aaron Torres, Fox Sports national analyst, which we're a part of with, and we'll break down this Alabama-Houston game and kind of look ahead. to another big game. When you look at Rutgers coming up 9 o'clock, that's a TBS game for all of you guys, because I know about 15, 20 minutes before the game, people were having a meltdown because they couldn't find it. It was TBS in this players' NIL deal out in Las Vegas. Let's go. This is the conversation when you look at Kalen DeBoer talking about the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, sure. It's going to be an awesome environment. We know that. Love playing the game at home, right? We get a chance to be undefeated. That's a sidebar. No, but be undefeated at home, it's a big deal. It's always been a big deal to me, and that's where we're at as a team. This game, what it means to those that come from each side, and what it means to the state. It's talked about, and not just told to me, but talked about amongst everyone in their homes. And it's Thanksgiving weekend, so if you're not at the game, you're watching it with your friends and family. So I've heard stories of families being divided because of it, in many different ways. So that's what rivalry games are all about, and I know this is a rivalry that's on another level.
Come on, Alabama, make us proud, make us proud, make us proud. Please, please, please. We do not want to have to live 365 days. But listen, the winning side of this is, I'm not saying it could be but you try to take a half full approach rather than a half empty approach. But if Alabama wins this game, you look at Auburn and you say, man, you guys are really struggling. I mean, we're having one of the worst years that you could even imagine, which in other people's eyes would be a good year, right? I mean, listen, you got a chance to win 10 games. You win this game, you win the bowl game, you're at 10 games. I mean, he goes past Frank Thomas as the first-year winning record of any first-year head coach in Alabama history. But in our eyes, it's a disappointing year, right? It's not the year that you would anticipate. But it's also the hardest job in sports. It is replacing Nick Saban, the greatest coach of all time. So you step back a couple of minutes and you're thankful that Kalen DeBoer said, okay, I'm going to try my swing at it. I'm going to try my swing. I'm going to leave UW. I'm going to come to the University of Alabama. So as we get ready to celebrate Thanksgiving, we're thankful that Kalen DeBoer said, yeah, I'll follow the legend. I'll follow the legend. I'll follow the greatest football coach to ever walk the sidelines. You better believe it. Yeah, sure, I'm not going to back down. And I think that confidence at some point, if it's this weekend, if it's next weekend, but you can look at the Auburn Tigers and say, you couldn't take us down. You could not take us down. Even during those dark days, you couldn't take us down. You couldn't take us. So what does that say about your program? I've said for weeks, I've said for years, the NIL has no longer, it works to advantage of some, but Auburn has always bought their way out of trouble. They can't buy their way out of trouble now. They can't buy their way out of trouble. They were in a dark, dark time. Cam Newton came around. They paid him to come to Auburn. And now with NIL, you almost wonder if Auburn is stuck in a rut. How will they get out? If they beat Alabama, that's a pathway out. That is a pathway out, because at that point they would go to a bowl game. They would be able to go to a bowl game. Alabama, you can slam the door in their face. You can slam it in their face. Let's see if they take advantage of that. You hear some good things from practice, but I've heard things for 12 weeks coming right out of practice. Let's see if they've got that mindset, that knockout punch, that Deontay Wilder right hand. Aaron Torres, we're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership, Camry, Corolla, Highlander, RAV4. You'll find the great dealership, Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. We'll get to Terry in Richmond, Virginia, but Aaron Torres is next. For Prediction Day, Terry in Richmond, Virginia, get ready. Aaron Torres did not answer, so we're going to get him coming up. He's covering a lot of different basketball and a lot of responsibility on the national level. We'll get to Aaron Torres coming up, so we're going to be delayed just a couple of minutes. We're going to go to Terry in Richmond, Virginia. Terry, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Well, hello, Ryan.
How are you, Terry?
How you doing?
I'm great, man. I hope
I'm
you are.
doing fine.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Roll Tide to you.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Ryan, I listened to your show all 4 hours yesterday. I was driving on the interstate, and I just want to say something to your big crowd out there. First off, I want to address Joseph. He's probably not listening. He's probably working right now. He usually calls in late. But, you have bent over backwards for this guy. He's a one-trick pony. The only thing he talks about is down in Jalen Milroe. We've heard it. You're not a true Bama fan if it doesn't just rip your guts out to lose a game. He wants to come in here and take a parade lap because he's told us Milroe's not a quarterback, not a winning quarterback. Well, you know, and he's lost some games. And he lost that one the other night. You know, it wasn't him alone, but we lost. So he takes a victory lap. That's ridiculous. I mean, if you're a Bama fan, it rips your guts out. And you even let the guy come on Monday and, you know, crow about his predictions and stuff, you know, and then he calls back again yesterday. So that is the definition of harping. Now, I'm on Tider Insider, and if you're on Tider Insider, somebody that starts doing this and keeps bringing up the same subject and over, they get suspended. Rodney suspends them for harping, but you don't do that. You could just not take the guy's call. But, you know, Rodney would put up with this about not nearly as long as you have and would refund his money, and he'd be put on the go-along. So that's what I wanted to say about Joseph.
Well, I guess we can refund his money. Jackson, do you still have his receipt in there? Can you Venmo him the cash back? What do we pay for this?
Oh, I'm sure he's got a big NIL deal. Probably up there about like Bama Nick.
But I try, and you've been listening to me a long time, I try to give everybody a chance to share their opinion.
You do. Bend over backwards.
But it can be a little frustrating at times. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm a human. I mean, sometimes I feel like a human pinata. You know, wow. But yeah, Joseph, I've let him take his victory lap. I'm like you. I'm tired of hearing it.
I wouldn't let him again, Ryan. I swear. You're a nice guy.
But here's the thing, though. It goes against everything that you know that.
Yeah, but we've heard it. We've heard it, Joseph. Get over it. We're all frustrated. You know. Hey, and I've got a couple others I want to bring up real quick, and then I'll take off.
Okay.
Bama Nick, what was that yesterday? I'm going to come in here and quit if we don't beat Auburn. Come on, man.
Come on, Bama Nick.
You're not going anywhere, Bama Nick.
Maybe he's trying to fire him up. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he said maybe they're listening to him. Yeah, right. Maybe they're listening. They're out on the practice field. They better be.
Well, they need to be.
But anyway,
they need to be.
Absolutely. But Bama Nick, you're not going anywhere. Get over that if we lose, because we might. Who knows? Jumbo, what in the blue hell was that yesterday?
Jerry, we recapping them all, baby. That 5 o'clock hour was crazy.
Wow, I couldn't believe it. I felt for you, my man. But anyway, Jumbo, calm down. You know, get back in here. We need you. Everybody, we got to come together. You know, we can't, you know, I've thrown fits over the years, man. I've shown my tail, believe me. And, but, you know, yesterday was an embarrassment, but I just wanted to get that off my chest.
All right.
And I wanted to
ask you
tell
this,
you thanks for everything.
Well, thank you, Terry. You're a longtime Alabama guy. You've been an Alabama fan for a long, long time. You've been calling this show for, double-digit years. I appreciate it. Thankful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What does the Iron Bowl mean to you?
Oh, my gosh. It's everything. That's the culmination of the season. You know, I remember, growing up in Birmingham, and, the Iron Bowl really isn't the Iron Bowl anymore since they left Legion Field. That's when it was the Iron Bowl when the tickets were split 50-50. And it was just something special.
But, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Because I was around radio when we brought that back to Birmingham. I had, here in Tuscaloosa, and you think about, I'm sorry, not the Iron Bowl, but bringing all the games back to campus was, when I was a freshman, we would travel back and forth to Birmingham for several games. I'm so
Yeah.
thankful that we've got it back at Bryant-Denny Stadium. As far as
Well, I am too.
because it
too.
for recruiting standpoint, I think there's a value.
Right.
and
I was disappointed initially because I was a Birmingham guy. You can't imagine what that city did to host teams and make it special. That's why it was called the football capital of the South. But I'm not advocating going back there. No way. I mean, Pat Dye pretty much caused it. I think that was about 87 when he said, we're moving it to Auburn. And we kept playing at Legion Field. And then in 89, we went to Auburn. And but we stayed at Legion Field for a while, after that, and before we went to Tuscaloosa. But that was the right move, and so. But that was it was huge then. It's still huge. I mean, that's how you end the season, and it's like, man, no holds barred. You just, that's the ultimate.
I wonder sometimes. I think our players get it, but I don't know if they get it.
I don't think they get it like
Because,
they used to.
As I look at the roster, we recruit from a national perspective. Auburn has a lot of guys that are from this state, and many of them had an opportunity to possibly be recruited but not get one of those committable offers. There's some guys that choose to go to Auburn. I'm not saying that they didn't have, offers, but many of them were passed up by the University of Alabama because I'm really convinced that you don't go to Auburn. I'm talking about as if you have other opportunities, right? If you have another opportunity, why would you? Why would you?
Why would you? I don't know.
I mean, academics, no. The ladies, no. You want to live in a trailer park as student housing? No.
Yeah, I was going to say culture.
The campus is really, for a landscape and architect campus, nothing blends. I mean, they just got a football facility like within the last couple of years. So I think about recruiting. I said a couple of minutes ago, they always buy their way out of trouble. They've always bought their way out of trouble.
Always have.
So, but if you look, I mean, I look through the roster, and I do see a lot of Alabama guys on Alabama's roster. But we also have a lot of Texas, Ohio,
we do.
Mississippi,
California,
New Jersey. I mean, tons and tons of players from Florida. Obviously, Austin Mack from California. Cincinnati, Ohio, Devontae Smith. I mean, you just go through Deshaun Jones, Baltimore, Maryland, Oklahoma, and I'm just looking through Miami, Florida. I mean, just generally going through the roster. Las Vegas, Nevada for Jeremy Bernard. You go through, like Quay Russo. He's from Montgomery, right? He's a guy that gets it, right? He gets it.
He and James.
Jalen Milroe from Katy, Texas. I'm sure he gets it after the years that he's played here. Keon Zaps from New Jersey. I mean, you just go through, and I know he's injured, but I'm just going through the roster. You do have a lot of Alabama guys, but those Alabama guys need to hopefully teach these guys how important this game is.
You know who we need? We need somebody like a Jerry Duncan to talk to the team.
Well, he'd
straighten them out.
Well, and understand that you play for those guys. You're playing for a Jerry Duncan. You're playing for a Joe Namath.
Yeah,
you're playing for the late Kenny Stabler and a Steve Sloan and a Bobby Humphrey and a Derek Thomas and a Cornelius Bennett. I mean, these guys get it. And hopefully they'll go out on Saturday and they'll stomp a mud hole in these guys. I mean, do I think Alabama's a better team? Yes, I do. I think Alabama's got it favored by 11.5. I do think they're the better team. Will they be able to show that? I don't know. I mean, it's a roller coaster.
We're a psycho team. I mean, highs and lows.
What was it, Mike Detillier? And I hate to make fun of that, but he called it. He said this is a schizophrenic team, and I hate to.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, you just don't know what to expect. I mean, you don't know whether this team's going to show up and be super colorful and play with energy. But I went back, Lord help me, why did I do it? A couple of nights ago and went through and I watched this Oklahoma game. Man, the nonverbals. I mean, that's,
I heard you say that yesterday. I haven't looked at it since.
That's the biggest problem that I have with Jalen Milroe. It's not his arm, not running when there's an open lane. It's the nonverbals. I mean, his communication, And he comes from a military background, strong leaders, right? Strong leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great leader, but his nonverbals is something he's got to work on at the next level. He's got to be able, because 70% of communication is nonverbal. His mannerisms, when things don't go well.
Yeah, the first time I saw him on, the bench, earlier in the season, just sitting there, when things weren't going well, it's like, man, that's not a good look. It didn't give me confidence, just sitting at home watching it on TV.
Sure.
Like, man, how's this guy going to get himself up to lead us to a victory?
You got to get 21 other guys to believe in you. And if you've got
Absolutely.
that, I hate to put all that pressure on the quarterback, but it's true. I've asked Joe Namath on this show several times, what's it like to be the Alabama quarterback? He said, I can't describe the pressure. Because as a young man at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, you're the second most important person in the state of Alabama.
Absolutely.
Number one is Kalen DeBoer. Number one is Nick Saban when he was the coach. Coach Stallings, whomever. Number one is the University of Alabama head coach, most important person in the state of Alabama. Number two is the quarterback at Alabama. I don't even know where Auburn, maybe fifth, maybe sixth. I don't know. Grandma Ivy would have to be in there at the top four somewhere. So she's our governor for the people living out of the state. We'd call her Grandma.
She's a little bit ahead of the Auburn.
Yeah. And she's a bug. She's a bug, by the way. She's a bug.
Oh, isn't that typical?
Yeah. So, all right, Terry, I need a score. I know you may or may not want to give one, but talk to me.
Yeah,
on
I'm going to give one.
Southern Owl House score prediction day, and both locations will be there to serve you. Whether we're talking about not tomorrow, they'll be closed, but back on Friday. But they're open for dinner tonight. If you've got family and friends, and maybe you don't want to eat ham and turkey because you know it's going to be a ton over there tomorrow, then Southern Owl House score prediction day at either location, Dockside or on McFarland Boulevard, the original location.
I tell you what, when I get back to Tuscaloosa, that's the first place I'm eating. I want to go there sometime.
It's good.
You've made it sound fantastic.
Well, I love Southern cuisine. I think, we don't ever talk about, hey, can you believe what they serve in Michigan? Can you believe the food they serve in Minnesota? No, it's Southern cuisine, and you master it, and they have. All right, Terry, I'm ready. All right. Go for it.
All right. I was going to predict a low score, and then I said, well, how in the heck are we going to stop them? So, I don't know. Here's what I'm thinking. 34-31 Alabama.
34-31 Alabama?
We're going to win this game, but we're going to have to score a lot of points.
34.
I don't see how we're going to stop.
Yeah.
34-31.
34-31. Jalen Milroe passing numbers. Where do you want to go? Tiebreaker.
Okay. He's going to have a great game. I'm going to say 235.
235. I got it, Terry. Be good to yourself, man. Have a great rest of the day.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Let's go to Bama Rick over in North Carolina. Bama Rick, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hi, Ryan. Yeah, everything's fine. I just wanted to give my opinion. You probably already heard it enough.
No. We want to hear it again. Talk to me.
That Oklahoma game, if you can call it that, I just want to say, now, this Alabama team this year, to me, they're a soft team. They're not like the Saban years where, we were defined by toughness and team spirit us, and we went out there and hit them in the mouth and made sure they knew that we were the best on the field. This year's team is none of that. And I'm not down on DeBoer. I think he'll do a fine job. I mean, you got to remember Saban had to win a bowl game when he started back to even have a winning record. We went to some lousy bowl game once, so then we were 7-6. But DeBoer, he'll be fine. But the team, the kids have just got to be. They just don't get it to me. They got to be more. They got to be tougher. They got to have that mentality that we're the best there is, and you can't beat us. That game the other night, Ryan Williams, you hardly ever see him drop a ball. He was dropping passes, and I guess Milroe got tired of getting hit in the side of the helmet. I mean, every time he tried to run, he was hit. Our line they just got totally shell-shocked shellacked by Oklahoma. And it looked like that the first half, whatever, we were up 3-0. It looked like after we went up 3-0, that we just thought, well, they just kind of quit. I mean, we just couldn't do anything. Coaches didn't make adjustments. this is the third game where they have put a spy on Milrose. And our coaches have yet to come up with a plan to take that spy out of the game. If they've got a spy on Milrose, you can pretty much predict when he's going to run the ball. I mean, that's pretty obvious. All you got to do is look at game film from the Vanderbilt game, Tennessee game. And, there's been a lot of disappointment this year, but all we had to do was win 2 games. It's like the kids should have known that. You win 2 games and going into the playoffs, but it's like they didn't care. They don't have any mental toughness. Hey, I don't know. But if you go back over the years and look at when we used to play Oklahoma, Oklahoma's they're like Alabama. They're a proud, they have tradition, history, and it used to be 4 or 5 teams that always played for the championship. Alabama, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Penn State, throw in Notre Dame once in a while. And our kids, when we went in those games, we just were tough. And we just didn't give in to anybody. But this team, I don't know. It's just, I don't think I think the NIL has something to do with it. It's like they don't want to take a chance on running their careers with the NIL or their sponsors or whatever. But it's made the kids just too soft, in my opinion.
Well, I do think it's a different kid to coach. I do. I mean, I think it's a different kid to coach. I think when you look at it, I don't blame the kid as much as I blame the system.
I agree with you.
Rick, I mean, we've set it up. We want to blame these young men. They're only taking advantage of the system that's there. I mean, Bama Rick, none of us would be able to turn down $1 million. None of us would turn $750,000 down, $500,000. I mean, we have to look at the administrators that are in charge of the game that you and I love so much. We have got to be able to somebody has to make the tough decisions. Leadership's a challenge. We have to look at NCAA and the bureaucrats who run college football and say, you guys have got to do a better job. College athletics is a mess. Well, why it's a mess? It's not because of the student athletes. It's because of you guys. You guys did this. You did
there
this.
There needs to be a cap somewhere put on. However they do it, I don't care. But I'm against the NIL to begin with. But if they're going to go with it, then it needs to be equally across the board. Otherwise, the teams wouldn't be taking our players, and our players wouldn't be leaving. If they knew they couldn't get more money somewhere else, they wouldn't leave. They'd stay at home and play for us. But you're right. There has to be some kind of somebody up there to administer this stuff and go for it. But that's just the way we're stuck with it.
Nick Saban today on ESPN Radio with Pat McAfee said, the players are temporarily committed. It's totally different than totally be committed to your team. Well, who else said that? Nick Saban said it for years, but you know who else said it? Brian Bosworth. Last week was a part of our show, which we had a chance to highlight. We don't feature Boogs. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to feature some. Yeah, but Brian Bosworth said it. I mean, the first 4 or 5 minutes of the conversation when he said, there's no allegiance. You're not really playing for your colors. You're not really playing for the jersey. You're not really playing for the hat. You got 9 hats in your closet.
That's right, man. He's right on with that.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of reason for Nick Saban stepping down amongst he was tired, but I think Saban he was tired of the NIL. He just couldn't get players that were honest and wanted to stay and play for him. I mean, Saban that's not him. He couldn't put up that mess.
Yep, you're right. Bama Rick, you got a score for me?
Let's go with Bama 37, Auburn 17.
Auburn 17. We're going Jalen Milroe passing numbers. Where do you want to go, Bama Rick?
We're going to go 215.
Now, I must ask you, you must have been the smarter of the brother, correct?
Well, I was going to ask you if my brother's been causing any kind of he stirred anything up this week.
Does he? Oh my Lord! Oh my Lord! I mean, he is a guy that he stirs it up every day. Now, we love Bama Nick. But he is he told us earlier this week he was going to quit if Alabama loses to Auburn. He is quitting sports talk radio. He's done.
Well, I'm 71 years old and Nick is 69, and I can tell you over the years, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, but he's still bombing. He will be bombing. And he's not going to go to Auburn. I can tell you that. So I don't know who he's going to.
Yeah, well,
I don't have any clue.
Well, listen, we like his energy. He brings a lot of energy, and we're just. Yeah. I mean, we love him. We love him to death. We like to aggravate him a little bit. We like to poke him as much as he likes to poke us. So
yeah, I know that's true.
Yeah, so we have fun. But hey, happy Thanksgiving, man. Bama Rick, thank you again for calling for North Carolina, man. Appreciate you.
Ryan, happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody there.
Thank you. Bama Rick, helping us out. Thank you, North Carolina. For those who may or may not know, that's Bama Nick's brother. That's Bama Nick's brother from North Carolina. You can tell who got the. You can tell who got the brain. Sorry, Bama Nick. Bama Rick sounds like he's got you, man. Sounds like he's a wiser guy. See, them PBRs he's been chasing's killed the brain cells just a little bit. Just a little bit. Did I really say that? My bad. I shouldn't have said that. Now Bama Nick's going to be mad at me. 758-2455. It's Joel Bromfield cooking up some amazing stuff right there. If you're looking for a great sandwich like the Nukes Q, the French dip sandwich, the chicken salad, the pimento cheese, the club, you know what's better than the club? It's the double club, the salads, the California-style pizzas, the daily soup specials. It is our good friends right there on University Boulevard. If you're thinking about coming to campus this weekend for the Iron Bowl, Nukes would be a great place to hang out on Saturday morning. Maybe you're leading up to a lunch before you walk down to Bryant-Denny Stadium, or maybe it's afterwards. Nukes Eatery, 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. Let's continue. Let's take more phone calls. Robert Mobile. Robert, good afternoon. You're in the game. Hey, Robert.
What's up, man?
How are you, Robert?
Well, so I guess the latest poll came out yesterday.
We did. And there's still
not much intensity in watching, is it?
Well, there's a pathway. It's I don't know what to say. I mean, I guess there's a chance. So, I mean, mathematically it's still there, which is kind of crazy. I mean, now I will say that the Football Power Index really took Alabama down a couple of notches.
Oh, I'm sure. Based on their last performance, of course they would. Because if Clemson loses twice, two more times.
I guess I'm talking about the rankings. The Football Power Index put Alabama. But here's the crazy part. That thing was down super, super low, and now it's bounced back up. Metrics change. Wow. Okay, they're at 30%. Okay.
Yeah, well, 30%.
I mean, they were. I thought I saw it. Maybe Josh from College Football Nerds can help us, but I thought I saw that number a lot lower a couple of minutes ago. But okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'll stand corrected. Hey, as long as it's good for Alabama, I'll be wrong every day. Let me try it again.
Well, we do need almost miracles right now. But if Clemson loses twice, lose the next game to South Carolina, which is entirely possible, and loses in their conference championship game, then Alabama could sneak the back door in. It'd be tough, but we could back door in. If Clemson loses to South Carolina and win a conference championship, then Alabama can't get in. I don't think Alabama gets in we definitely get in over any conference champion. Will we get in over anybody playing in the game and losing? If it's Clemson and they're a 4-loss team, I think we can get in there. I don't think we get in over any team if their third loss is they just lost the conference championship. Then I don't believe we get in over any conference losers as long as they have the same record as we do. The same number of losses.
Would it be a meltdown? It would be absolutely a meltdown if Alabama was able to slip in the back door. But
not really.
Well, no. I'm not talking about from a mathematically impossible. I'm just saying if Alabama slipped through and somehow they were able to get in, which, hey, let them cry in Baton Rouge. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. They can flood the Gulf of Mexico with tears. But
our best opportunity is Clemson losing twice. I don't believe we get in any other way other than Clemson losing to South Carolina and losing their conference championship game.
Yeah, but here's the thing. By South Carolina doing that, would they not bump up a little bit?
Yeah, but we beat them head-to-head, so we have that advantage. it won't be in the wig around the head-to-head. But, South Carolina, it could get Alabama in, and SMU. Alabama doesn't even get over SMU if they lose their conference championship. that's kind of season we're having right now. SMU will make a 12 seed is guaranteed in the playoffs before Alabama is. That's kind of the season it's been right now. It's just been this year's just so inexplicable. That's what bugs us so much. We're losing the teams that aren't even that good. It's not like we're losing the good Oklahoma teams. Good, although I guess it's the best Vanderbilt team that's been forever. But still, it's still Vanderbilt. I mean, this game Saturday, this is already a D plus season for Kalen DeBoer. I mean, it's the best. If we get in the playoff, it can improve. But right now, we're at D plus season. If we lose to Auburn, it's an F season. I mean, the season is just a total failure.
So you say D plus right now? Wow. Okay. That's coming from an engineer right there. I know where you look at it. I get it. You guys grade a little tougher. You had a harder pathway to get that degree, so you didn't take American Studies, did you? You didn't take Dukes of Hazzard over in Gordon Palmer.
I did have to take music, and I enjoyed it more than I thought it would. I know the entirety of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony now.
Now that's about as useful.
It is useless, but even to this day, I'll pull it up on YouTube and listen to it.
Robert,
it gave me an appreciation for
Robert, you're now proving that you're the smartest guy that calls into our show. So we.
And Mozart,
Here we go. Now it's getting deep. Now we went from serious to pulling my leg. Okay, I got you.
I'm the Klein and not Musik as one of my favorite Mozart pieces.
What you gonna tell me next? You're going to 3 plays this weekend instead of watching the Iron Bowl? I mean, what's the deal here, Robert? Where we're going with this conversation? All right, I need a score at some point. I'm at the top of the hour here.
Yeah. We salvaged the season. I can't believe beating Auburn is a season salvager. That's usually what they have to hang their hats on, salvaging their season by beating us. I'm going to go 28-20.
Okay, I assume Alabama.
I'm sorry, yeah, Alabama.
All right, and then we're going Jalen Milroe passing numbers. Where do you want to go?
Okay, dude, you've got to improve that passing. I'm going to go 255.
255? All right, Robert, I appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day, man. Thank you.
All right, man.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Robert in Mobile. We're going to Josh from College Football Nerds. We go from one engineer to another engineer. I'm going to grab that line right there, Jackson, where nobody can steal it. We need that free line. We'll do that coming up. Josh from College Football Nerds. He breaks down Alabama and Oklahoma from a standpoint of analytics. Joe, stay with us. Abe, stay with us. J-Rob, stay with us. Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina, stay with us. We'll get with you in just a couple of minutes. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com. How about a Tacoma 2.99 APR as low as with a $1,000 Christmas holiday bonus cash? How about a Tundra as low as 2.99 APR and a $1,000 Christmas holiday bonus cash? It is the Toyota-thon that's happening. It is Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com, and you can see the pre-owned inventory. You can see all of the inventory, including the inventory that will be arriving daily at Tuscaloosa Toyota. We'll continue with our Southern Ale House Score Prediction Day. We've got Kalen DeBoer's show starting at 6:30 coming up right here on Tide at 100.9. Let's continue with more phone calls coming up, but right now we're going to Josh from College Football Nerds. Josh from collegefootballnerds.com. Josh, I hope all is well. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. I guess you kind of know what's going on, and I know the people that follow us on our channel do, but I have been dealing with a child in the NICU for the past month and a half, and happy to say that he came home on Monday.
Absolutely, man. When you sent me that text, that's awesome. That is awesome news. Awesome news. What a Thanksgiving. What a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, what a Thanksgiving. I appreciate there've been a lot of people praying for me and for our channel. Daniel and I both have spent the majority of the season, one or the other of us in the hospital for him or family members. So blessed to be here. Child's still 35 weeks, and effectively I have a 3-day-old preemie, so I'm a little bit loopy today. Yeah, I'm blessed that he's happy and healthy, and that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. Well, if I can give you one advice, when you take your baby home, and you did that on Monday, is don't tiptoe around. Do the normal activities, and you'll create a very sound sleeper. If you do the tiptoes and you be quiet and you don't play the TV and you have the mute button on, the closed captioning, you'll create a very silent sleeper, and they'll wake up the rest of their life easy. So develop a sound sleeper by doing what you do.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I'm hoping so. That's the upside of having him in the NICU for a few weeks, is it's not the quietest environment. So my hope is that I end up with a pretty regulated baby and a sound sleeper. But we'll see. Little blessings, take things one day at a time.
Well, hopefully we can get him a win. He's already declared his allegiance to the Tide, I assume.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he was born on the bye week, and I feel like that's a sign about where his mental state is as far as Alabama football goes. So
good college football fan. I mean, yelling around, screaming around, a little bit crazy there. But all right, Josh, I want to go back to Alabama and Oklahoma from your thoughts. When you look back at this Alabama game, what went wrong for Alabama?
Am I allowed to just say everything?
Yes.
And hang up?
All of the above. All of the above. I mean, and people predicted that's what you were going to say, but I had to ask.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty terrible. Now, defensively, I'm a little bit more forgiving, I think, than some. I mean, Oklahoma only had 325 yards of offense, and that's not a whole lot, right? I mean, they had that first half, and they went, I think, something like 150, 200 yards rushing, and looked like they couldn't be stopped. But anytime you play any sort of veer or triple option offense, they're going to extend drives. That style of offense is designed to get 3 or 4 yards of play. If you get 4 yards of play 3 times, you get a first down. That's the way things go. On the whole, Oklahoma had 5.2 yards per play. That's not atrocious. Now, the better defense is, Texas held them under 4 yards of play. South Carolina did. Missouri 2 weeks ago held them to 4.2. So it's still one of the worst performances someone's had, but it wasn't the worst. I mean, they had over 6 yards of play on Auburn. That's a good bit worse than they had against Alabama. When they played Temple, they were like 6 yards of play. It wasn't even as bad as they had done against Auburn, to put that in perspective. Oklahoma had 68 yards passing. Now, I think we can have a long conversation, Ryan, about the wisdom of staying with your 3 down lineman looks. And they would have 4 in the line of scrimmage because they'd walk up a linebacker. But, 4 in the line of scrimmage, 3 down lineman looks against a team that doesn't throw for 100 yards in the game. You think at some point you go to just single high safety, 5 guys on the line, stack the box to an absurd degree, dare them to pass. I can't answer why they didn't, other than to say against that type of scheme, you need the ability to move laterally, and they probably didn't feel like they could load defensive linemen and set the edge. But one thing I want to say defensively before, and we're having a long conversation about offense, but, when I watch that tape, Ryan, it is obvious that Oklahoma, who had a bye week, went back, watched the Vandy tape, and installed a good chunk of their offense.
Okay.
Because they ran a number of plays, some sort of quarterback veer where they have a dive and an option component. And then they had some plays where the quarterback has an outside run, but then he has a design pitch back inside to the tight end on this little slip screen. Those were carbon copies of plays that Vanderbilt used against Alabama to great success with Stillers. They hit him a lot in that tight end inside sort of slip screen thing. Clearly, they used the bye week, watched the Vandy game, realized Alabama's scheme had some problems with that offense, and just copied it. And I haven't really seen them run that in prior games. So to some degree, I'm going to give Womack, at least the first half a bit of a pass, because I think they ran into a buzzsaw of an offense that completely changed what they were going to do. Taylor made the scheme for Alabama when they had a bye week and Alabama didn't. And, the second half, Alabama shut them out. So you gave up 10 points in the game, gave up about 300 yards, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. coming off a bye week against a scheme I don't think they were ready to face. It's not the worst result in the world, but it's the worst result in the world when you hold them to 10 points and you only score 3.
All right. I want to ask you, when you look at it from an offensive line perspective, we throw stones at these offensive line because we want them to play a little bit better, but how much of the success or lack thereof involves the quarterback? Because certainly going north and south or east and west really didn't help that offensive line look better.
Yeah, I think more than most people want to give credit for. Milroe has never had great pocket awareness. We've talked about that for 2 years on this show. He doesn't step forward in the pocket. He doesn't understand when a pass rush is getting around the edge with Ben. Look, if a pass rusher decides he's going to rush with speed, he's going to get 8 to 10 yards deep in the pocket and bend that tackle and get to that spot. I mean, the pocket is a circle, and if he wants to get to the back of that circle, he can get to the back of the circle. It's almost impossible to stop a good pass rusher from doing that. Milroe has a tendency to drift backwards in the pocket, and if you think of that circle, it's like he gets to the back of the circle, and he just doesn't have a good feel of, hey, they're rushing me deep, I need to step forward. That's what they call stepping up. And what I saw a lot from Oklahoma is the DNs knew that. Again, they had a bye week, and they attacked aggressively on the edge with speed, and they said, we're not going to let him get the edge running the ball. We're always going to take the outside edge. We're always going to rush deep because he drops as a passer. And basically, they just went full speed every single play, and Alabama had no counter. The biggest way that you deal with that, and you saw some success with it, is if you run really behind the guards, because if those DNs are running upfield, that leaves this big hole. And you saw Justice Haynes and Jam Miller have some pretty good runs, didn't you? From like the guard and inside the tackle. That's why. But, it kind of took away everything Milroe was trying to do. Ryan, I'll lead into this. I just won't beat around the bush. I mean, the performance of the quarterback position was terrible. No bones about it. I mean, I'm looking through the stats I have on Alabama right now. My deep statistics only go back to 2016. Statistically, Jalen Milroe had a quarterback rating of 69.5, and that's ignoring him as a runner, just passing. That is the lowest passer rating Alabama has had at least in 10 years. Yes, the South Florida disaster last year, that was a quarterback rating of 83. Higher. The Clemson game with Jalen Hurts in 2016 where they couldn't complete a pass, that was 95. That was the worst passing performance by an Alabama quarterback in at least 10 years. I'm guessing it's probably closer to 20 to 30. QBR, ESPN has this metric called QBR. I hate the name. It's confusing. QBR is their metric separate from quarterback rating. People get confused by this all the time. His QBR in that game was 16. Perfect score is 100. Ty Simpson and Tyler Buckner were in the 10 to 15 range in that South Florida game. And that metric takes into account running to a significant extent, and that really speaks to just how little was generated. Basically, Milroe's impact on the game was no different than Tyler Buckner's in that South Florida game. And to your point about spreading it out and everything like that, it all snowballs. And, with the beginning of the game, Ryan, and I know it's a long segment from me, but there's just so much you could say on it. The thing that stands out to me on tape wasn't even the passing game, where I think there were some miscues and placement in the pocket, things that have been issues all year that Oklahoma just drilled in on hitting them on. It's the fact that Milroe didn't run well. And I've always argued that he's more a wide receiver than a running back. He's not comfortable running through contact, running between the tackles. On that first drive, that drive stalled because they had a second and 6, and Milroe rushed between the guards, got about 3-4 yards. The linebacker comes, and he started running backwards. And he ended up being tackled about 4 yards short of the line to gain because he saw the linebacker starts running backwards, fails to get the corner, gets tackled. If he just run forward, just hit the guy and fall down, it would have been a first down, and that drive would have been extended. In the first 2 drives, I counted 4 instances where Milroe was tackled running backwards, past or behind the line of scrimmage, every time costing Alabama 2 to 3 yards. The field goal that Alabama got, that was set up because they had a second, I think it was 2nd and 4. Milroe runs around right edge. A safety comes up. Rather than running and engaging, he tries to take the corner and runs backwards, gets tackled for a 2-yard loss. Suddenly it's 3rd and 6. They can't convert and they kick a field goal. So every aspect of that game was negative. Certainly Alabama had some drops to receiver position, which put on a hole early, but it was just really those first 2 drives. After that, Ryan, I don't know how to sugarcoat it. They were completely ineffective at the quarterback position in every way, shape, and form. Oklahoma is one of the best run defenses in the country, and it all comes down to a point that I made on the show several times. After the Tennessee game, I told you I did not think Alabama was capable of winning the national title. And I told you it's because you're going to face a team that can stop the run. And when they can stop the run, Jalen Milroe is not capable of winning that ball game. That's what happened. Oklahoma is a top 10 run defense. They stopped the run. They could not get enough with Miller and Haynes to keep the chains moving. And if they could stop the run honestly without compromising themselves on the back end, which they did, Alabama is not capable of beating a team playing them straight up on the back end defensively. This is an Alabama team. I said after the Tennessee game, sure enough, you can win 9 or 10 games with this scheme, playing Jalen Milroe, power run game, quarterback run game. It'll beat the teams it should beat, but you are not going to beat a top-end defense this way. And that's not only did that not pan out, but when you combine the three interceptions, which is just something that can't happen in a ball game, it got them actually blown out.
Wow. I was going to ask you how he can bounce back. Let's go there, because we know his lows are really, really low. How much can you fix of that in a 4-day window, 5-day window?
I mean, the truth of it is there are a lot of little things that they did wrong, which are correctable. If we could say whether or not those are fixable now, I'd probably be a multimillionaire in a GM's office for an NFL team. But I will say those issues are fixable. And I will give you one positive, Ryan. Alabama, due to cadence issues, has moved to this thing on the snap where you see the guard turn to the center and he kind of slaps them and they snap the ball. I don't think people understand how damaging that is to the offense to have to do that, because every time the ball snapped, the guard turns, slaps the center. Me on TV watching, I know the ball is going to be snapped. All those linebackers and defensive ends on defense, they know it too. And I don't know how many times I saw the Oklahoma linebackers or edge players, they actually at the snap, they would get their first 1 or 2 steps in before the offensive tackles. And when they talked about the offensive tackles having a bad day, and they did, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the tackles didn't always know when the snap was coming earlier than the defense did. And that's just almost impossible to set the edge like that. So, the one positive I'll say in terms of bounce back, Ryan, Jalen Milroe is a very hard player to block for, but he is much easier to block for at home when they can actually have a snap count and the offensive line gets that extra step. And those tackles aren't always the greatest in their first step and they get beat by speed, but you give them an extra little step, suddenly they're going to look a lot better, I guarantee you, against Auburn. And it's going to be like it magically fixes itself. I truly believe that snap count issue, that speed rush issue, compounds because Milroe has issues with speed rush. And when you're on the road, it's a lot harder to deal with speed rush because of how you snap the ball and how you call for the snap. I think you'll see them bounce back next week. But the question is, if they had another game like this, how would they bounce back? I don't know if they could or would. Right now, I don't see a solution to that problem other than fundamentally changing how they snap the football, how they run their offense.
I want to
they don't have to. So.
I want to take up for Nick Sheridan for just a couple of seconds here. And I want to ask you, when you've got a quarterback that struggled this much, how much pressure does that put on Nick Sheridan? Because I know we've thrown him under the bus and we've backed over him and we've thrown him off the cliff. Frank Broyles put him as an assistant coach, I guess one of the finalists for the Assistant Coach of the Year, Frank Broyles Award, which goes to the top assistant coach. I'm not saying that he's done a A+ job, but how hard is it to be able to manage that when you've got a quarterback that can't do the things that we're sitting here talking about?
I think the question that you have to ask is, what could you do offensively as Alabama with the quarterback situation, the offensive situation they have, that they're not already doing? I mean, do you want Alabama to try to throw over the middle more? I mean, was there something in that game that told you that if they asked Jalen Milroe to throw 10 to 20 passes over the middle of the field, that's going to turn out positively? I mean, I know a guy missed a block, but they had an RPO play, and it's an RPO. So Jalen Milroe is reading the outside linebacker. That was, I think, Lewis 10, who had later had the pick six. Sees whether he crashes or not, and then he throws a screen pass. The guy, beats the block on the screen pass. He's standing there waiting for the ball. Milroe, when he turns and throws, he's staring at a defender in the spot, and he still lets it go. If you're going to do that on a screen, you're going to do that on any play over the middle of the field, and guys are going to drop into coverage, and those are going to be interceptions. So, there's a lot of plays they don't run. We've talked about they don't run screens. Alabama fans for 2 years, I've heard them say, why don't we run more screen plays? Well, you just found out. They don't run a lot of zone read, and you saw it in that game. I think I heard Tyler Watt said, in an interview, he counted 8 different times that they made the wrong read on a zone read. I haven't charted it, but I believe it. That's consistent with what I saw. They have to have a lot of designed runs from Milroe. They have to tell him to hand it off or go because he basically predetermines, best I can tell at the snap, what he's going to do. So sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong in his own read, but he's not really reading anything live. And so I think Milroe has a pretty good understanding of the offense. I think he's probably does pretty well in practice. He's got good traits, but the problem is live processing. And let me be clear, Ryan, if you put me out there right now, and I'm a pretty smart guy and I have a pretty good understanding of offensive football, if I had to play in an SEC game, I'd have eyes the size of saucers, deer in the headlights, and there's no way I'd understand what was going on, right? I mean, they talk about you get out there and the game's moving fast. That's a reality, and it's not a comprehension problem. It's not like an intelligence problem. That's just a processing issue. And we've talked about before, I think Jalen Hurts probably has a much better understanding of offensive systems than Tua did, but Tua's intuitive processing live is supernatural compared to Hurts. Hurts has to understand everything in the game, and processing's a little bit slow for him. And it's just a skill. It's almost like arm strength. Milroe does not have that trait. So I can't blame Sheridan because there's a whole section of that playbook that is supposed to be about post-snap reads, reading defenses, reacting, going where the defense is not. That's DeBoer's system. Milroe cannot run those plays. And so they're left with predetermined plays with very simple reads and a very shrunk playbook. And, those plays are either going to work or they're not. But I don't know that there's anything else you can do other than change the quarterback. And I'll tell you, frankly, what I saw with Ty Simpson in the Mercer game, I did not think he looked as good as Milroe did. I thought he looked kind of panicked. He looked like a player that hadn't played before. He is not ready yet. Maybe he will be next year, but I could see why they're not playing him. So, DeBoer and Sheridan are dealing with the deck that, frankly, Saban and the prior coaching staff gave him. Maybe if there was continuity, they would have taken a transfer. I don't think you could with a returning starter from the playoff, but, it just is what it is. I mean, these are the plays they can run, and I think if they have a different quarterback next year, you will see a completely different offense because of it.
Wow. Josh, this is Mark McGuire deep center field. This is Sammy Sosa going deep. I don't even know what to ask. All right, I want to go back. I got 2 things about Alabama and Auburn. What do you see in their defense that could create some problems? That's a pretty nasty defense across the state that can give Alabama those same issues that Oklahoma did.
Well, we did a preview of this. Just went out today, so you can go to College Football Nerds on YouTube, and we did, 30, 40-minute deep dive, talked about issues, talked about these potential matchups. The thing I see with Auburn, Ryan, is they're kind of built a little differently. So Oklahoma is one of the top teams in the SEC in sacks. They're 3rd in the conference, tied with Texas. Auburn, they're 8th. They're good. They're not necessarily at the same level. Similar deal like tackles for loss. Auburn is sitting there at 11th in the conference. Oklahoma is 2nd. So when you talk about disruption, Oklahoma is able to get in that backfield, cause disruption, blow up on these plays at a level other teams can't do. And I think a lot of people slept on how bad those factors are for Alabama. Like you talk tackles for loss. Tennessee's 3, Oklahoma's 2, South Carolina's 4. What all three of those games have in common, right? Alabama's offense didn't work well. There's a reason for that. It's people talk about them being inconsistent. I don't think that's really true. It's more when they face defenses of a certain type, they consistently struggle. Auburn is not quite that team, but where I will say is they're still 6th in run defense, behind Oklahoma, a little behind Tennessee and South Carolina, but they're still quite good. And so I think you're going to see Auburn teams stop the traditional run pretty well. But they also don't stop it quite as well as, Tennessee or Oklahoma did. I will give you some positivity from this, and this has been a little yin and yang. Your negativity towards Milroe in this offense is all based on expectation, right? Because this is still an Alabama team that's going to go probably, worst 8-4, best 9-3. I actually think they match up really well with Auburn because Auburn, again, is not a very disruptive team relative to South Carolina, Tennessee, Oklahoma. They're not nearly as disruptive. They're pretty good on the run, but they're a little more passive. Alabama played a pretty good against the run passive defense in LSU and lit them up. Moreover, Auburn offensively, and this is a big issue, yes, they run the quarterback a lot, but they don't run this wing T veer option offense like Oklahoma does, and they don't have a bye week to prep it like Oklahoma does. They just had a huge game against Texas A&M. I don't think there's any way that they were able to look ahead to Alabama. They're going to have to run their normal RPO offense, and Alabama this year has been very good against RPO offenses like Missouri. Even Tennessee was an RPO offense, and Tennessee could not move the ball. Even though they beat them, they struggled to move the ball. So I do think Alabama has a really good shot against Auburn. I think Auburn's run defense is going to give them some issues. The pass defense is still good. But Auburn is more a good defense that is a normal scheme. Oklahoma was a really good defense with a scheme that was built to stop Alabama. And so I think while Alabama will have issues, given the fact that it's home, they don't have the snap issues I was talking about, given the scheme Auburn has offensively and defensively, I think you'll see Alabama, quote-unquote, rebound. But I don't think it's a rebound. I think it's just a much better scheme matchup for Alabama. I do actually like them to win this game by a pretty good margin.
Do you really?
Okay. I do. I think Alabama's issues are that their offense is really specific to running very specific things. And if you can stop that, they can't do anything else. We've seen it 2 years now. Michigan game last year, all through this year. I don't think Auburn is necessarily built to stop those plays. And so, again, Alabama is a team that was built to basically get to the playoffs but not win it. They may still get to the playoffs for all we know. I don't think any of that's changed. I think they just had a couple games this year, Vanderbilt game in particular, that they probably ought to won that didn't, that would have gotten them in a better position. But I don't necessarily take that to mean they're going to lose to Auburn.
Josh, I don't know. I don't think I have any other questions. I mean, I think that's if I was a attorney, I'd just say, well, that's my closing argument. Opening and closing, I'm done. We'll put it in the hands of the jury, and we'll see what can come out of this. But I want to ask you just one quick question here on the college football playoff. There's still some that say that it could be an option. Do you see it as an option? I mean, what would need to happen for Alabama to backdoor this thing?
Alabama's sitting there right now at 13th. They're not going to move down. And when you look, it's the same way it is every year for Alabama when they've been in this position. They need teams to lose. So some of these teams probably are going to lose. Like I don't know that Miami and Clemson are going to stay in front of them, both teams. South Carolina beating Clemson would be fantastic for Alabama because that moves them up to 12. They really need to be, 10 or 11. Kind of depends on where, who gets bumped ahead of them by force. With 3 ACC teams in front of them, one of the hopes is the ACC only gets maybe one in. The other issue, Boise State's ahead of them already, so that's not such a big deal, but they're getting jumped currently by a Big 12 team. That's going to happen, so they need a little extra help. I think if Vandy would have beat Tennessee, that would be really big. Indiana, probably not going to go anywhere. I don't know exactly where. Well, I guess right now it's set. The Big Ten Championship is going to be Oregon, Ohio State. So I don't think Indiana's going to lose. Maybe if Texas loses to Texas A&M, it could do traction, but I think they stay ahead. I don't think Georgia's going to lose to Georgia Tech. So I think you basically need the ACC teams to knock each other off or to lose out of conference to South Carolina. It would be fantastic for Alabama if Tennessee loses to Vandy. And I don't know all the odds, but I'm guessing the Tennessee loss to Vandy is by far their best chance to get in the playoff right now. Otherwise, because of all this auto bid stuff, and Ryan, you know I hate auto bid. I hate the whole auto bid system they have. I think personally, if you're deserving to be in the playoffs, you should be able to make the top 12. You know, I don't think you need to have a like 9-3 Arizona State or something get in the playoff just because they're in a Big 12. You know, despite not playing anybody out of conference, or in Arizona State's case, nearly losing to the worst team in the SEC in Mississippi State. I don't think that should guarantee you a slot in the playoff. But, it is what it is. So Alabama needs really the ACC logjam to clear itself. And they probably need at least one other team immediately in front of them to lose and get knocked out. So it's possible, just not likely.
CollegeFootballNerds.com. As Josh just said, we have a comprehensive preview on the YouTube channel side. Go to YouTube, go to College Football Nerds, do a search for it. CFB Nerds on the Twitter. Wow. I mean, I'm speechless, Josh. I mean, you knock it out of the park every Wednesday. This is one that, I mean, if you read my phone at the number of people that are sending me either tweets or text messages, DMs, letting me know how much that they appreciate, because I think you just explained something that a lot of people are struggling with. I mean, we've been going through the 7 stages of grief, and you've helped us, I guess, with bargaining, I guess. I think that's pretty incredible. Josh, I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving once again. Congratulations on the new arrival. Happy for you guys. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us here in Tuscaloosa. Thank you.
Thanks.
Radio business, I've always been taught, if you got radio gold, don't turn it to, don't turn it off. I mean, let him go. I mean, I thought Josh from College Football Nerds, which is our guest every Wednesday at 3, and I know we're a little bit jammed up because we're having to move some of our Thursday guests to Wednesday. And right now we go to Bruce Marshall, Vegas Insider, CBS Sportsline HQ. Bruce Marshall, welcome back to Tuscaloosa. It's been therapy week here in T-Town, 24-3 whipping we took out in Norman.
Yeah, I know. Well, you could be like me, and I just turned down the Kennesaw State job. That's because they offered me to pay me in Braves tickets. They have some financial difficulties. Did you know, by the way, all 4 teams named Owls in FBS, Florida Atlantic, Rice, Kennesaw, and Temple, all just fired their coaches. So that little tidbit of interest for today.
Wow, look at you. That's called homework right there. That's called homework. Let's jump right into it. Let's talk about this rival weekend. I want to start out with Alabama and Auburn. We just had a guest on that kind of explained his positioning around Alabama that was pretty insightful. When you look at this upcoming Alabama and Auburn game, it's a big number. What do you think?
I think it's too much. In fact, I'm leery to lay points in any of these rivalry games this week, just because that's the way the season has gone. I mean, it's obvious Alabama is not what it has been in recent years. But having said that, I just for my own thought, I don't know that it would have been that much different had Coach Saban still been there this year, because nobody looks all that dominating. Georgia ain't the same this year either. It's just one of those seasons. But having said that, when we saw it again against the Sooners last week, I mean, the running game is just very inconsistent. When we have 73 yards rushing last week, that's not enough. I think Jalen Milroe really needs that to help. He has not posted great numbers this year. He's made some mistakes. We saw Oklahoma turn a couple, into touchdowns last week. And Auburn, for what it's worth, I mean, they have generally been pretty competitive this year. Even the games they've lost, I guess the Georgia game was the biggest margin, but they were close in that game into the fourth quarter, and they've been within a touchdown in most of their games. As long as Peyton Thorne doesn't make mistakes, they've got some momentum after what went over A&M, kind of rousing last week. They need one more to get bowl eligible. Hugh Freeze, we mentioned this last week, he's usually good for one of these upsets per year. Now, maybe that counted as it last week, though it was a short spread. But I'd be very leery of this game for Alabama. And this is just the way the SEC has gone this season. I mean, everybody, save Mississippi State, has been really competitive. And even some weeks, the Bulldogs have been competitive. So I'd be reluctant to lay it. I'm going to recommend taking Auburn plus. I don't know that they'll win, but it could get kind of hairy in the Iron Bowl for the Tide, which hasn't lost at home to Auburn since Cam Newton was there 14 years ago. But I don't think it's going to be easy.
Well, and Auburn's playing for a bowl game, and Alabama, they're playing for pride. Certainly, bowl positioning, but Alabama would be playing for 9 wins, which would tie Frank Thomas in 1931 as the most wins by a first-year head coach in Alabama Crimson Tide history. And if you win that, then you got a chance to go to the bowl game and possibly get to double-digit wins, which would be, even though Alabama fans are disappointed, would be a good year for Kalen DeBoer to get this thing started.
Yeah, and the way this season has gone, I don't think the playoff is out of the question yet. I mean, I think there's several potential upsets. No, I don't think so. There's several potential upsets waiting to happen. We've seen it every week. I don't think Tennessee. We'll probably talk about some of these games. Georgia, Tennessee, Miami, Notre Dame. These are teams that could all lose this week. And that's just the way the season has sort of gone this year. So we'll see some upsets this weekend. I'm not sure how many, but if it follows suit and what we've seen, Ryan, all fall here, don't be surprised we see a couple more this weekend.
All right, let's go to South Carolina, Clemson. That would help out Alabama. South Carolina is the underdog here. Clemson minus the 2.5.
Yeah, I think they got the wrong favorite. South Carolina, I'll come out and say it, they're flat out better than Clemson. Clemson should not be ranked where it is in the new bowl poll, in the playoff poll. This just says to me that nothing has really changed in these rankings. They can decorate it all they want. They're still going just on straight up records, just like they used to do for years. The year they put BYU as the national title winner when they were unbeaten in '84. It's no different. I mean, why is Clemson ranked where they are? Just because they have only 2 losses? They've only played 2 really tough teams this year, and they have lost decisively in both of those. South Carolina is another one of these teams. It would take some other things to happen this weekend, but there's a chance they get in the top 12 too. And right now, this is a top 12 team. This is a top 10 team, maybe a top 5 team, I think. And all of a sudden, I think Shane Beamer is in the Coach of the Year discussion, especially after we saw Indiana and Army lose last week and Colorado also lose. What Lenora Sellers, how he has developed as the season has gone on. They got Rocket Sanders healthy, running the football. This defense, you guys saw it Alabama game. I mean, they are really rough up front. They could have beat Bama. They could have beat LSU. And Klubnik has put up all these numbers against, good numbers, but a lot of it, again, against the lesser foes. And Clemson, the Pitt game, they caught some real breaks in that game. South Carolina goes into Death Valley and wins, and then waits for results elsewhere to see if it could maybe sneak in that final 12. We'll see.
Tennessee at Vanderbilt in Nashville. Tennessee minus the 10.5.
Here's another one. We've seen Vandy all year. I mean, what are they, 7-1 as an underdog this year? The only one they didn't cover was South Carolina a couple weeks ago. But they were right there hanging around with LSU last week. We've talked about Pavia before. I mean, he's slowed down a bit as the season has progressed. But their litany of competitive efforts against really good teams this year and staying within the spread and even winning some of them. At Missouri, took that game to overtime. We know about the Alabama game. LSU last week. The Texas game, they ended up losing only 3. They can play with these top-level teams, and you get Tennessee away from Neyland Stadium. I'm just not sure how great Tennessee is either. Nico's numbers are not great on the road this season. His numbers are not that great overall. I know this defense is really good, but they ain't the same team when they're out on the road. Look what happened at Arkansas, and they just ended up not competing in that game against Georgia once Georgia got rolling. I think this is an upset possibility here. Tennessee is not that good. This offense is not what it has been the last few years. This is not even as good as Joe Milton's offense last year, and nowhere close to Hendon Hooker's offense 2 years ago. And by the way, you talk about scheduling, Tennessee, by the way, cannot get in the SEC title game no matter what happens this weekend. And it comes down tiebreakers and strength of schedule. And this is what happens when you play, weak schedule, and also the SEC schedule is broken pretty well for Tennessee too. Vandy plus, they might win this game outright, but I'm certainly betting on the Commodores.
Notre Dame at USC. Lincoln Riley certainly needs a win. Notre Dame minus the 7.5 out in the Coliseum.
I really thought had SC lost that game against UCLA last week, which it very well could have, and then lose this week, that Lincoln Riley would be in some real trouble. First of all, it's a different AD there now than the one that hired him. no matter what, it's been 2 very disappointing seasons in a row, and they just lost their top quarterback recruit to Colorado, and Deion, of all places. And, Deion's a force now, and the top recruits are thinking to go to Colorado instead of SC right now. That ain't sitting too well at Exposition Boulevard there. I think Notre Dame's going to win this game and get probably the 5th seed, maybe the 6th, but they could do better than that. One thing about Notre Dame this year, Ryan, this is a brawling defense, and it was last year too. Credit Al Golden for that, the defensive coordinator. It's a top 10 defense. This is a little different than these options from Navy and Army they've wrecked in recent weeks. But up front, I mean, they are real. They maul you up front. And Jaden Maeva, the new SC quarterback, he still looks a bit unsteady there. Riley Leonard is not a pinpoint passer, but he's good enough. Notre Dame can balance the field. They can certainly run it. And one other thing, even though the schedule doesn't look like it's so bad for Notre Dame, Ryan, they're not as beaten up as some of these other teams, I think, at this stage of the year, or Notre Dame usually is. They've been doing the pounding. So I think they take care of SC. I'd lay the points and give Notre Dame a look, and I keep an eye on these guys in the playoff. I think they're headed there.
All right, Miami goes to Syracuse, 10-1 Miami. Miami minus the 11 at 8-3 Syracuse up in Syracuse, New York.
Another one here. I don't buy this number at all, and I'm seeing analytics saying, 80-some% chance Miami's going to win. I don't buy that at all. First of all, Miami has a couple games. Miami should have 3 losses right now. If not for the grace of God in the form of the ACC replay officials, they lose the Virginia Tech and Cal games. We saw what happened to Georgia Tech. They were actually struggling with Wake Forest last week, Ryan, and that 42-14 was very deceiving. You look at Syracuse this year, 8-3, and the only game they've really laid an egg was that game at Pitt, and that's the game McCord threw 5 picks in the first half. I mean, that game is the outlier. They've been very competitive this year. They have some balance. McCord has put up some good numbers, and I just don't think Miami is that great. I think they're in some trouble here. And again, you listen to the talking heads; they're assuming, okay, Miami's going to win this game. I don't think you can assume that. I think it's going to be difficult, and I'm certainly taking the points. And this one is just sort of like Vandy and Tennessee, very live underdog, and Syracuse. Like I said, if the refs played it straight in the ACC, they got the same record as Miami coming in here. So I'm taking Syracuse.
Bruce, we'll end it right there. I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I know that you were flexible coming on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday, but you had a lot of radio interviews today that you've jammed it on Wednesday. I want to take this minute to say thank you for all the great appearances. We'll certainly talk to you very, very soon, but I want to give you the opportunity to promote anything out there that you're involved in, certainly Vegas Insider, CBS Sportsline HQ. Talk to me.
Yeah, thanks. Check us out online. All these picks. We got college hoops going, too. How about that Crimson Tide last night? How about Auburn, too? Hoops is going really good. And that's right now. Get my picks there, along with college football and, of course, the NFL, NBA, NHL. VegasInsider.com. Also, read my stuff at CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. More picks there. And with a different twist on the picks, winnersandwhiners.com and picksandparlays.com.
It is Bruce Marshall. Bruce, I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys, too, Ryan.
Thank you. Bruce Marshall helping us out there. I want to remind you, we'll have a Blue Spring Living Water update as far as injury update on Friday, bluespringlivingwater.com. When you look at Waterway delivers your water, we drink more water at the Fowler household simply because of Blue Spring Living Water. Numa is a great oxygenated water. Hey, we all know that oxygen is the ultimate healer, and you can find it at Blue Spring Living Water, which is a locally bottled water company that is distributed throughout the state of Alabama. And you can find it at Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Mark Smart, downtown Northport, Rouse's Supermarket down in the lower part of the area. Blue Spring. Every day at 4 o'clock, we play Toby Mac, dedicated to our Final Four head basketball coach, Nate Oates. Every day at 4 o'clock. We've been doing that since the spring. Alabama Rutgers, that will be 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Alabama Rutgers, 9 p.m. That will be on TBS. We'll also have the call here on Tide 100.9 with a lot of pregame activity. Getting you ready for Las Vegas, the Players Era, in a big NIL, in a championship that if you win it, you win this evening. You'll be in the championship round. coming up on Saturday. It will be a championship round. And, hey, if you win this evening, you're definitely guaranteed money. A minimum side of things is a $1.1 million payday for your NIL. But maybe this is where college athletics is going, right? Think about how hard you can play, how hard that you can battle. Rutgers able to win their game, and Alabama, they beat Notre Dame. And then now you've got Alabama and Rutgers, and that will be the 9 p.m. tip. And then Houston, Notre Dame playing in a round that they can still play more, but in the impact group and coming out of another's bracket called the Power Group. But right now we're going to go to Lee Sterling. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. He'll be our final guest for the day. Lee Sterling, welcome back to Teton. I hope all is well.
It is. Looking forward to having a nice, peaceful, relaxing Thanksgiving and eat some good food, being with family, and then also watching some football and enjoying it. What are your plans?
Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
Focused on the Iron Bowl. We got a very, very small family, and many of them have passed on. So it will be even.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those. Yeah. My mom was an only child, and my dad's been dead for probably 20-something years. My stepdad was an only child, so it kind of condenses the family, And then when
if you are ever near Miami for Thanksgiving, you look me up. We have between 30 and 35 people that come over, almost all family members.
Okay.
And we've had some sickness in our family. Yeah. Fortunately, my younger sister passed away at 45. So, and I think almost every person in our family has some type of condition, but just able to see the bright side of things. So if you're ever in Miami Thanksgiving, you come on over, and you will.
We're going to have a good family gathering, but it'll be very, very small, very, very small. And we'll get together and we'll have some fun. And we don't allow any of the divided. We have like divided tags in this state. I wouldn't even claim them if they were Auburn fans. Okay, I mean we can't stand them, and I know we're going to talk about it. So we'll have a big turkey and do some. I think I'm gonna spend tomorrow maybe a little bit.
But it almost sounds like our basketball game. So I play on Sunday mornings. We play at 7:30 in the morning, and we have a total of about
on Sunday
mornings we play bright and early, and we have a total of about 17, 18 guys that rotate in, and we play games of 4-on-4. So we usually get 10, 11, 12 guys. Out of the 18 guys, believe it or not, 6 are Miami fans, 5 are Florida State fans, and another 5 are Florida State fans. And then a few other schools, but crazy. So we have it 3 ways here in South Florida.
All right. Sound like a pretty good fun, and hey, we're going to enjoy it, and I'm sure the weather is going to be a little better. It's as cold weather has arrived. I mean, we wanted this back in September, but we get it for the final regular season game. Yeah. Let's go Notre Dame and USC. It's a big line, and we've talked about it. Notre Dame going out on the West Coast. It's a big trip, but they go there laying the points minus the 7.5.
Yeah, and if Notre Dame loses, I think they're going to be out. I know they're 5th in the rankings, but 7th in the polls, in the college football poll. It would be tough for them to survive here. Now, USC did a great job in their last game. They came from down in that game. They scored, I think it was 10 points the last 7 minutes to pull out that win. So they are playing better, but I still think they're limited on the front 7 here, and that's where Notre Dame does their best work. They control the line of scrimmage. So since that Western Michigan game, they have been pretty much on a mission. I think USC they're going to have to hit on a big play early and play with the lead. If they fall behind, this is going to be a real tough game for them, though. So I thought it was actually a mistake changing quarterbacks. They scored, since they made the quarterback change, 29 and 13 points, only 13 in that game against UCLA. But I like Notre Dame. I think you win battles in the trenches, especially going on the road. So USC is already going to a bowl game. think they're probably happy just beating their crosstown rivals. Sometimes it's about a matchup, and I don't like the matchup here for USC. Notre Dame, I think it's a job done here, 30-20.
Georgia Tech. Georgia minus the big number here, 19.5.
So Georgia, it has not been right all season, their offense. I think it's partially Carson Beck's fault. Partially they don't have that one or dual running back combo that can do the job. Etienne is also not going to play in this game. And they don't have a number one receiver. If you don't have a number one receiver, and they had a stud receiver, McConkey, and also Brock Bowers, the best tight end in college football, probably the last couple years. And you see the difference. And, guys just aren't elevating their game. Maybe for a half, quarter, we're seeing, glimpses of that, especially in the Texas game, played a great first half. But other than that, this is not the same team. They're not playing for anything. I mean, yeah, they don't want to lose the game, but they could lose this game and win the SEC championship game and make the playoffs. So I like Georgia Tech's offense since they started playing their true freshman quarterback about 35-40% of the plays, mainly when they throw the football. I think this is the team that's coming on here. Biggest upset of the weekend. I like Georgia here, 35-30.
Tennessee in Nashville taking on Vanderbilt. Tennessee minus the 11.
Vanderbilt is limited. When they come up against the big boys, they generally just do not have the talent and the depth. Usually get worn down. You see it in the third, fourth quarter. Even when they've won games against your game, they were holding on for dear life. So I think they're up against a tough front seven that's going to give them problems here. Love the Tennessee running back Sampson. I think the receivers also are going to make some big plays against these cornerbacks who you're not going to see too many of them playing at the next level. So I like Tennessee. I think they pull away here, 38-21.
All right, Texas and Texas A&M. It's good to be able to see these guys when you look at Texas and Texas A&M back on the piece of paper. It just looks good. I mean, I'm looking at your sheet that you send me, Texas minus the 6, but it just looks good on the same line.
Yeah, it does, and it's like your rivalry. I mean, it's one of the 8-10 rivalries that should take place no matter what, every single year. I love taking home underdogs with better defenses in huge conference games. But let's be honest, Texas has the better defense, and it's not even close. Longhorns, number 2 defense in the country, allowing just 247.5 yards per game. Aggies, usually you'll look in, if you see teams that are going to be playing for a chance playing the SEC championship game, they're top 20, top 25 in defense. Aggies ranked 56th, allowing 356 yards per game. So I think they're a year or two away, and I think Texas just has not played to their potential this year. I think we're going to probably see the drafts the next 2 years and say, if Texas can't win a national title, how didn't they win a title with all these guys drafted in the first, second, and third rounds here? I know it's in College Station. I know it's at night, but I think Texas is just too good here. Just the talent level, not where it needs to be just quite yet for Texas A&M. Texas here, 27-20.
All right. Then we go Alabama minus the 11.5 against the Auburn Tigers. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Lee, we're waiting on our opinion.
Yep. The Tigers' offense has been improved over the last month. I thought the first half they played about as well as they could play, but I think that A&M was just tight here. So I think that Peyton Thorne's going to have some trouble. Maybe early in this game, and if they fall behind, they are in real trouble. I mean, the SEC has been just so up and down. This has not been a perfect year. No one's taken the reins and just run with it. Alabama obviously played one of the worst games in a long, long time last week, but I expect Milroe to bounce back here. I think this Auburn team is susceptible to a quarterback if he's on, giving up some big plays. So I like Alabama here, 38-24.
Yeah. All right. So you like Alabama to win this game, man? Wow.
Yep.
Do you believe that this Alabama team could backdoor and come into the college football?
Yeah, I think so. I think some things can happen. You know, obviously Notre Dame is one. Not looking at my sheet of all the games, but there's a number of teams here. I think that Miami, possibly could go down if Syracuse is hot, and if Miami loses, and then SMU ends up winning the ACC championship game could be just one team in there. So obviously that's what makes it so much fun. But yeah, I think Alabama's got a shot. They just need a couple upsets.
I mean, it's hard to believe that this is the new college football, right? I mean, that
Right.
we're sitting here with a team that has lost 3 football games, 8-3, and the door has not been closed on them.
Yeah. No, it's, I mean, hey, most seasons it would be over, just talking about recruiting, and obviously you want to win this game, and then it's all about recruiting. But I think it's actually good for college football. So let's see I think they're going to have to make some other tweaks, like the Big 12. Big 12 just, they're all their teams. There's no one that really has a chance. The ACC, if they end up with 2 or 3 teams, that would be kind of a travesty too, because none of those teams have a realistic chance to win it all. So, like I said, there's going to have to be a few tweaks, but overall, I like the idea.
There it is. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Lee, I appreciate you. There's also an opportunity here when you look at the free games. Talk about how folks can get in touch with you.
Yep, free game. We're going to have this, like I said, this is an incredibly competitive, fun weekend. I got a game in the NFL tomorrow night, Green Bay and Miami. Green Bay playing good football. Miami's won 3 in a row. They're trying to get back in the wild card race here. So tomorrow night, you want to get that game for free. Just be one of the first 5 callers. Call 800-400-9741. First 5 callers will get Green Bay and Miami on me. And it's our world's famous turkey shootout. 15 games starting tomorrow. That's not one of the games we have. We have 2 other games. 15 games from tomorrow all the way through Monday night. Just $97. How do you get it? Just one place. We've had some 13-2, 12-3, and also some 11-4 records in the last 5 years. $97, just one place, ParamountSports.com.
ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us here in T-Town.
You too, buddy. Take care.
Thank you, Lee Sterling. Let's go right back to phone calls here, and we'll go up to Super Joe. Super Joe, good afternoon, Super Joe. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
What's up, man? What's up? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I hope you are too.
Man, shoot, I'm listening to taking a look. I'm over here at the liquor store, man.
Oh,
yeah, man. I'm just
you're at the liquor store?
Yeah, I'm at the liquor store, man, trying to get something for the Iron Bowl a little bit. You know how that is.
Okay, you think it's going to be that bad? I mean, you're already at the liquor store.
Man, yeah, I'm at the liquor store. That's right.
What are you going with? What's the option here, Super Joe?
Oh man, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'll look at it like that. Just called toddy for the body. You know what I mean? You know how that is. Just a little, little sip. Have a little sip something, and then drink it down with some Miller Lite. You know how it is. Go. You know how to drink. You know how the drink goes.
Okay.
Stick the beer in the freezer for 15, 20 minutes, and shoot. And it goes down real right. Sometimes I have 2 dreams when I go to sleep. You know what I mean?
2 dreams when you go to sleep?
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes I don't dream the first dream. I don't dream what I want. That first dream don't come out that good. The second dream, I dream what I want. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Well, I wish you to wake up that Oklahoma and start again.
Yeah, man. They tell me about it, man. That was a sick loss.
It was not good.
Yeah, man. That was not. Oklahoma played defense. Man, they must have turned. They defense must turn. They must have learned how to play defense all of a sudden because they ain't play no defense like that. No shoot. I mean, their team does not play defense like that.
Okay.
And then I look at it like this. It looked like we threw that damn game. That's what it looked like to me. I mean, Ray Charles and Steve Wonder could see it wasn't no effort on no Alabama. I don't know what. I mean, Jalen Milroe he can dominate. He can dominate a game. He he handles his business. But then all of a sudden, there was a regression. I mean, I don't know what the play called, but now I'm gonna say this though. Now we're killing the board. Now he better not mess this game up here. Because I'm gonna just say this with all fairness, there's gonna be a lot of pressure put on that man next year. I mean, he is not to sit there and jack it up like that. I mean, come on. I mean, we come out there and lose all over the start off, man. It's gonna be bad grits, and we don't want to hear that man's mouth from Montgomery calling this show again. You know, and we've been doing a good job keeping them off here. Like Buster Douglas keeping Mike Tyson back with the Jazz. See, one thing about SmackDown, I stay prepared for it, and I love to keep Iron Man in his place. I like to keep him back as a scared mice, because all Auburn got to do is get a little half a breather, and he's got this Cloud 9 mindset, this Cloud 9 attitude.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I mean, here we are. I mean, Jalen Milroe. It's you look at the quarterback. It's on him, right? I mean, it's on other 21 other guys, but if you can't play good at that position in this game, it's going to be a difficult climb. And I think he will. I think he's going to respond in a positive way. I mean, I look at it. I think he's heard the noise. I mean, you heard the analyst a couple of minutes ago, Josh from College Football Nerds, talk about how he needs to play better in a lot of situations. It grabs my attention in many different ways.
Yeah, but feel like Kellen DeBoer is forgetting something called the next man up. I mean, what the hell happened? Why couldn't he have switched? I mean, if he saw, then why did the man got to throw 3 interceptions for the wake up? I mean, I think if the man, he could put another. He's got some second string quarterback. That's why they call it the bag up. That's why they call it the bag up quarterback. If the first string ain't progressing, somebody got to get up there and lead singer, and that lead singer goes harsh or something. So come on. I mean, Coach Saban would have made a better decision in that, but this is Kellen DeBoer. We know. But right now, he's got to understand this is the SEC around here. Expectation or as high as a rich man's salary. I mean, that's it. I mean, Ray Charles and Steve Wonder to see. We do not need the baloney. I mean, I know we're not going to win the national championship every single year. Of course not. But we want to stay up in the playoffs. We want to stay beating our rivals more than they beat us. But is that going to fortunately happen? Well, is that going to really happen all the time? I mean, we should at least, let's say we play Auburn 7 times. We should at least beat Auburn 5. We should beat LSU, about 5 in the same way. But Alabama, one thing about us, we do not like to take second-hand seats. In our football, it's like traumatizing when we take back seats. It's just like Kansas. If their basketball team ain't progressing, believe me, they're just like us. Their basketball is just like our football. So, and I just say this, one more with Kellen DeBoer, the pressure is going to be on next year. Because I'm telling you, the hot seat, he's going to walk in a hot seat. If we don't beat Auburn and we don't make the playoffs, I
do look, and I'm not saying hot seat. I think you're Super Joe. You're way, way, way early. I get it. I get it.
Well, wait a minute. Ain't nobody patient no more, Ryan. Let's be real. There's been coaches that have gotten fired less than within a year or two. Come on, I know it sounds like, but if he does not progress, that's what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about now, but if it's not progressing.
All right. Well, hey, I guess everybody gets their opinion, and we want yours, Super Joe, and I appreciate it, man. I just
Well, go ahead, man.
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay. What I'm gonna say this with all fairness, okay? But like I said, but then because Kellen DeBoer had a program that was well handed to him. Okay, everything. I mean, it's like the balance was on cloud 9. But then, like, it's a difference between with Coach Brian and Coach Stallings. They had to come out and clean up the mess. They had to clean up the mess. They had to Kellen DeBoer didn't have to clean up no mess. Okay, this was rightfully handed to him. But you know what? But Roll Tide. That's all he wrote. Well, I'm about to get on up to the register.
All right, give me a score.
Okay, well, Alabama 28, Auburn 20.
28-20?
Yeah.
Alabama?
Uh-huh.
And then Milroe passing numbers. Where do you want to go?
How about 168?
168. All right, Super Joe, be good, man. Thank you. Super Joe is at the liquor store, he said. He said he was buying. Buy more, save more. Remember the code word. Now, listen, when you go there, it's a 25% off discount. It's Fowler, Fowler, Fowler. And my favorite print is the legacy continues. It's the last 30 years of Alabama Crimson Tide football. And in one print, it summarizes a lot of what we were able to experience here under Coach Nick Saban. You can also find Gravedigger. By the way, that was a great play, right? Last year, Isaiah Bond catching that from Jalen Milroe and yanking that victory out of them. Think about if Alabama was not able to beat the Auburn folks right there. down there. Then they would have walked out with a win in Nick Saban's final Iron Bowl down there. But you can find it at DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Remember the code word Fowler. And when you check out, tell them that you heard about it here on the game on Tide 100.9. Let's continue with more phone calls. And we go to J-Rob in Montgomery. Then we'll go to Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. J-Rob, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Good afternoon, Ryan Fowler. Happy Thanksgiving.
A happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. I'm just laughing at Super Joe. I'm still laughing. I mean, we've had a lot of calls from a lot of different places, but I don't know if we've ever had one from the liquor store.
That's pretty unique.
Technically, Bama Nick's porch is a liquor store.
Well, something.
I started going to the bathroom, and when you went to me, I was going to
flush
flush
it.
the commode. I was going to say that's Auburn's bowl invitation.
Sometimes I think I think you guys are just messing with me. You know what I mean? Like you guys are messing with me. You're just, you're not really this places. It's just, it sounds good. So.
No, I think he really was. I don't think he would lie about it. I really don't. But it was very interesting to hear Barner Nick's brother. Man, you can definitely tell he was the one that got the smart gene in that family, wasn't he?
I think so. I think so.
The normal gene. I mean, you know what I mean. First off, he's brave to stand up there and tell everybody that Barner Nick's his brother. So congratulations to him for having that intestinal and fortitude to do that. But anyway, man, Josh from College Football Nerds, man, he had some interesting things to say, didn't he?
It is. It is. I look at it and listen, the guy knows a lot more about football than I do, okay? Let's just be what it is. He understands it, the way that he reads it, and I'll be honest with you. I'm always preparing for that next question. I didn't have to do that with Josh. I just got him going, and he let loose, and I'm sitting there going, okay, there's a lot of things that I agree with, and a lot of things that maybe I'm on the other side, but he was able to convince me to maybe look at it. When I look at some of the offensive line, and I kind of phrase that question because I do wonder, when you look at this offensive line, we've blamed a lot of this offensive line on a lot of different folks.
Yeah.
Maybe it is some of the schemes that we're having to run because of the shortcomings.
And that explains a lot of my question as to why that we don't have. Georgia is very good at second half adjustments. Kirby he sees what they're doing wrong. Their coaches go in, they make halftime adjustments, and normally they win. So I was wondering why we don't do that. We don't change things. We start and we finish the same way we started. And I think some of that was answered today when Josh was when he was telling you his side of the problems that we have, and he studies it, analyzes it, and he knows, like you said, he's a nerd. He knows more about the X's and O's than we do, and we have to believe what he's saying. It's not what me and you say. He said it. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, you're right. But he points out, he lets my eyes see things that sometimes I don't want to believe, that I want to take a different side. I do look at Jalen Milroe, and I do say this. There's every coach says, I'm going to fix him. I'm going to fix him. And somebody in the NFL is going to look at him and say, I'm going to fix him. I'm going to be able to fix him. Some coach is going to say, I can fix him. But I also look and I think about, Bill O'Brien. I think about Tommy Rees. I think about Nick Sheridan. I think about Nick Saban. I think about Kalen DeBoer. That's a pretty good group of coaches right there. And if he's still making some of those same mistakes, that bothers me a little bit.
But you got to look at this also, Ryan. I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around. No,
absolutely. Tons.
There's got a lot of drop passes. There's
and I think that he is the best
tackles.
He is the best quarterback for this team.
Right now, he is. He's the best we got, and I believe that Kalen DeBoer is got him in there for that reason. He's the best thing. He's a best thing that gives us the best chance to win. And, you know, all these rumors about he's got him there because he thinks we'll lose the team. If he takes him out now, I'm sure we would. I mean, it's too late in the game to be yanking the quarterback out and trying to get
if Kalen DeBoer would not pull him out of that lackluster of an effort to try to get him on the ground, he's not going to pull him out.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's not going to happen. That tells me all.
But that's not the only player that lost that football game for us, and I don't want everybody to harp on that one play and that one effort, because nobody wants to win that football game than players out there. I guarantee you. And I hate when people go after one player because there's 22 other guys out there playing too. So that's the only thing I have to say when we're crucifying him like that.
But J-Rob, isn't that fair for all the quarterbacks though? I mean, we praise them when things go great, and we criticize when things don't go well. I mean, isn't that? I mean, that's that part of pressure of being a quarterback at the University of Alabama or any other place.
That's tough.
It's
tough.
And the psychological.
But we're not making. Do you want to make the team better, or do you want to keep it to the problem? These players listen to this stuff. Do you want them to hear that and
no?
Just get a tank?
No, and I think that's where you're going to see this team respond. I think when you look at some of the Auburn guys that have poked the bear, I think this is one of the best things that could happen. I almost wonder if it was done purposely by Auburn to try to distract some of these guys.
I don't know. They really think that, Ryan. They think they're more than what they are. I mean, they always have. They got the big brother, little brother complex. But, you know, I'm thankful for a lot of things. You know, we all are this time. You know, Thanksgiving, we're mindful of the things, our blessings that we have. I'm thankful that I'm on the right side of the ground. I'm thankful that, you know, I have a home and the bills are paid and there's food on the table and that kind of thing. But one of the big things I'm thankful for is that I'm not a bug. Thank God I'm not a bug.
I'm glad you're not a bug either. That's a good point. Thanks for, and I was thinking that we were going to hear Paul and Lincoln at some point today call. Cheer us up a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's not going to cheer the Aubs up, that's for sure.
Yeah, but that's okay. We don't want to cheer them up. We want them to collapse.
Yeah, man. That is the biggest blessing that I have this time of the year, and especially this week. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you because I know you got a lot of people back up. You're trying to move through here, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you my score for Saturday. And you're all gonna have a regular show on Friday, right?
We will. We'll be here for 4 hours.
So you're gonna throw the pro games in there too this week? Oh no, I didn't think so.
Pro games. What do you mean?
You know, we actually might win 2 games in a row this week. We have the New York Football Giants this week. We have the battle of the backups.
Oh, I mean, now we're going to screw the pooch, and he's talking about our Cowboys. J-Rob and I share a love for the Dallas Cowboys, and we get a chance tomorrow to watch AT&T Stadium, the New York Giants. That's 2-9, and we get a chance to get closer to 500, which only pushes us further down the NFL draft order. I mean, I was hoping that my Dallas Cowboys would be able to draft Jalen Milroe.
Pick up Daniel Jones.
He's going to Minnesota. I think so. I think he signed earlier today. I think. Hold on.
Did he really? I didn't hear that.
Somebody look. Jackson, look. I thought, listen, I've been down on Alabama, man. I've been at practice all morning, most of the morning. But
go ahead and write my score down.
Is that right? Is that right? Yep, he went with Minnesota.
Well, they can have him.
He's got to clear waivers first, but they are signing him.
Yep. All right, J-Rob, give me a score. What do you think? Alabama and Auburn.
I think we're gonna break back out. We're gonna win, do our part to try to get into a decent bowl game, maybe back our way into the playoffs. 31-21.
31-21. Okay, right there around Vegas line. Jalen Milroe total passing numbers. We've had big numbers all week, and we've had some small numbers. Where is J-Rob?
I've got medium numbers. 177.
Okay. Pass defense is probably the weakest part about this Auburn defense. Just statistically, they give up a lot of yards on passing plays. So maybe there's some money to be made. J-Rob, I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Oh, everybody out there have us happy, and everybody be safe. And as always, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. J-Rob helping us out there. Let's go to Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. Stephen, good afternoon. I appreciate your patience today.
Roll Tide, Ryan. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
It's a great week to be an Alabama fan. You know, he just said something. I am so thankful I'm not an Auburn fan. We're going to be thankful. That is a great one to be thankful for. Because my mother was an Auburn fan until my nephews. My nephews are at Alabama. And in the last 2 years, my mom has put on her first Alabama jerseys in 50 years.
Really? Hold on, Mo. What happened here?
She's going to support those grandkids, Ryan. She is all in on Alabama basketball, all in on Alabama football. I went to the South Florida game with her earlier this year, her and my sister. You know, she's my mom, who's been an Auburn fan since I can remember. Blood is thicker than Auburn, Ryan. He's supporting that grandson who's at Alabama. So, yeah, good thing. So,
I'm glad you're bringing them over winning one at a time. One at a time,
Ryan. One at a time. Even my sister's an Auburn fan, and her son goes to Alabama.
All right, and see, this is the part. With Hugh Freeze across the state, I don't know how anybody supports Hugh Freeze, but I really don't know how ladies support Hugh Freeze.
Yeah. You know where this game matters, Ryan? You talk about what does it mean to me?
But
Sunday school on Sunday morning.
Okay.
Man, there's a great time to be an Alabama fan when you win this game. You know, when you're passing your neighbors, when you're at the high school football games, you know, it's great to be an Alabama fan. It means a lot in the state of Alabama, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, and Mo Linguist.
Kalen DeBoer, I think is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Mo Linguist said earlier that he came in from Buffalo, and he was telling us a story about him moving into this neighborhood here in Tuscaloosa, right. And he said the first thing the neighbor did was drop off a cake to their home to welcome them to the neighborhood. Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. It's good to have you guys. And he said the first thing they said is they hand me the cake, and they said, hey, by the way, let's beat Auburn next year. And he goes, okay.
You know, I disagree. You had a caller 2 callers ago maybe who talked about a hot seat. The liquor store guy. The liquor store. There's no way Kalen DeBoer is not on the hot seat. Nowhere
No way. That's liquor talk. That's
that's liquor store talk, man. That is liquor store talk.
Yeah, there is not. There's not a chance. Okay, because that's fans who don't understand. Listen, okay, take Kalen DeBoer out of the photo, Stephen, in Raleigh, North Carolina. Nick Saban told you why this job is hard. He can no longer do it at the level that we expected it to, in him, that is the standard that he's created. He told you that with his actions. He got out of here. And he also said that,
I believe.
Go ahead.
I believe the reason Nick Saban is not at Alabama this year is because of what Kalen DeBoer is going through right now.
Amen. I think he saw it coming. He saw it coming. He saw it, and listen.
Nick Saban is a very smart man,
yes,
and he saw it coming.
And Nick Saban always used to say, by the way, he gave away into the house today. Thank you to him and Miss Terry Saban, which is awesome. You say that.
Yeah,
Todd, he gave one away yesterday and gave one away today. What a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, Coach. And listen, but he's the greatest of all time, but he always used to tell us, I hate losing more than I like to win it, and that I like winning.
Yeah. Yes, he said that for years.
And I'm not saying that he's he's not a quitter, but he doesn't. It wasn't that he couldn't.
No, it was just time, Ryan. He's not a quitter. It was just time.
It wasn't that he couldn't.
72 years old.
He wasn't. It wasn't that he couldn't do it. His heart wasn't in this NIL era of college football. It wasn't that he could not do it. His heart was not in it. And that came from a very, very close friend of Nick Saban.
However, Ryan, like I said a second ago, Kalen DeBoer's not on the hot seat. Nowhere near. I am all in on Kalen DeBoer. I think he's going to get us where we need to go. However, you let him lose this game right here.
Oh, I know. That's the part. Yeah.
The off season will be the most scrutinized off season we've had in 17, 18, 19 years.
You're right, Stephen. I think you're spot on right there. I think you're spot on, and you look at it, and I don't know. It's not going to be questioning from whether his job or whether it'll
be every move, every decision, every move, every decision he's made this offseason.
Yes, every time somebody goes in the portal, you're going to be like, okay, whoa. Was that purposely done? That's the type of offseason that I think that Steven's talking about. I agree with you. I think it will be. It will be a very difficult offseason, but I think, listen. Has anything made me challenge my thought process of Kalen DeBoer's not the right guy for the job? No.
I'm not challenging that.
I also look at it and I say that this is the new college football. You've heard me on that soapbox. I think it is the new college football. I'm not convinced that it's not the new college football. And I think that's part of the reason why Coach Saban, as I said, got out. He said, no, I can't do it. I cannot do it.
Anyhow, Ryan, real quick before I go, I've already given you a score yesterday.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, sir. If any of your call, even though I would love to raise it, actually, I feel more confident today than I did yesterday. The college football, Josh from College Football Nerds really actually got me a little excited because even though all the things he said, I said some similar things yesterday. He thought we matched up well against Auburn. But if the callers on your call show did not watch that Alabama basketball game last night, boy, they missed a gem.
What a just an overall game of excitement. They force you to play a little different style, and I was kind of excited to talk with Aaron Torres. I don't know what happened to Aaron. Aaron must have gotten a doghouse or something.
Right. Alabama proved last night that if they can outscore you at times, but if they've got to get in a dogfight, they've got the dogs to do it.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was really excited. I mean, Mo Diabate, 10 points, 16 rebounds.
Yeah. And the
nearly
physicality.
40 blue-collar points.
Woo.
Dude. Whoa. Anyhow, roll tide, Ryan, and they got a lot of people.
I'm going to tie something out. Hold on a minute, Stephen.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get off. I just wanted to be nice to call.
This will be the final thing. I think of a lot of things. Listen, we've got a very successful athletic department. I think Greg Byrne has positioned us in a pretty good, awesome thing. But, some of the issues that will take some of this pressure off, Alabama football is always going to have pressure. But as a distraction is Alabama basketball.
Oh, Alabama basketball is going to be so much fun this year. So much fun.
And we're going to have the call right here on Tide 100.9. We'll have a pregame show with Hunter.
10 o'clock tonight, Ryan, for me. 10 o'clock for me.
And we'll have Hunter and Wyatt at 7 with a pregame show, Tide Hoops pregame show, leading right into 8 o'clock with CTSN and the 9 o'clock tip. So out in Las Vegas at the Players Era Impact Group is which we're a part of, and we're playing for what would be the championship of that particular group to make it to the championship of the overall.
Make it to the final.
Yeah. So,
listen, Ryan, you have a fantastic Thanksgiving, my friend. Bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Love your show.
Thank you.
Roll Tide.
Stephen, Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll come back. We'll go to – no, I can't take him today. I can't do it.
Josh kind of set him up.
just ever walk the sidelines. We are talking little Alabama Crimson Tide football, and we're talking about it right here on The Game, powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. How about a RAV4 as low as 3.99 APR for 36? The Toyota Thun is on. How about a Highlander as low as 5.99 for 72? How about a Camry? How about a Corolla? You'll find those. How about renting a vehicle? Don't pay those high rental car prices. And we are also growing our winning team. It is Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Let's continue. We're getting ready for Alabama and Auburn, and we're taking phone calls. And we'll go here to Joseph, and then we'll go to Danny G, and then we'll go to Jacob up in Indiana, who told us that he was traveling to the great state of Alabama. Mary in Atlanta, Georgia, and Marty in Arkansas. We're doing a score prediction contest today presented by Southern Ale House, and Dockside is going to be open until 9 p.m. If you're looking for some of the great menu items, always, when you look at the great options there, what a great normal menu that they have, right? I mean, the normal menu is simply amazing, but we also have white chicken, chili, and Boom Boom Shrimp Tacos later this evening, open until 9 p.m. Dockside has your new favorite chicken sandwich. That's what he's telling me, the kimchi chicken sandwich. Oh, the Dock Burgers also this evening. It is Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Those are the items at Dockside. But, hey, you got prime rib, you got smoked pork chop, you got bacon wrapped meatloaf. I mean, just some incredible dishes at both locations. Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Your chance to win an Alabama and Auburn gift package. We're doing a Southern Ale House gift card. We'll also do dozen red roses, courtesy of Pat's Flores, 1010 Queen City Avenue. 1010 Queen City Avenue. Let's continue, and we'll take more of your phone calls, and we go here to Joseph. Joseph, play nice now. It's the day before Thanksgiving.
What's up, Ryan Fowler?
I'm good.
Ryan, that Josh from College Football Nerds, he knows a little something about football, buddy. I'm going to tell you that now. He knows a lot about football, and I've never heard him explain pretty much what I've been saying all season. He explained what I've been trying to say on your show all season in more depth. Like, I couldn't explain it any better, Ryan Fowler, than he just done. I mean, he's like a genius, man. Like, really, like, I never thought to look at them speed rushing Milroe. And Milroe has a habit of dropping back in the pocket too far and not good stepping up. And, and then the step up would be the cure for that. I'm like, oh, my Lord. And then he goes about the offensive line, saying when you're away, that they already got the defensive line has a step ahead because they have to pad or do something today, I think he was saying. I'm like, dude, the dude's a genius, man. I'm like, really? I'm like, he's explaining stuff that I've been trying to tell you all season, right, fellas, that's going on. I'm like, oh, my goodness. And then it comes back and says the playbook is limited. I'm like, oh, my gosh. How this dude is like reading between the lines. And then he says, there's only certain places.
But here's the thing, and this is where I have a problem with you, Joseph, okay? I think as an Alabama fan, you take too much enjoyment in him struggling. That's the part that I don't think a lot of us enjoy, is you claim to be an Alabama fan, but you like soak in his failures. I don't like him struggling. I don't want him to struggle. But you enjoy it so much that it's bothersome to a lot of people, including myself.
Everybody calls me idiots and retards because they think because they say,
well, listen to
Jalen
you.
Milroe's good.
Listen to you.
They said Jalen Milroe's. You just heard from Josh from College Football Nerds, which you said yourself. He is a smart guy.
Highly.
He's a very smart guy. You just heard him. You heard him talk about all that, Ryan Fowler.
Joseph, let's recap this next week. Okay, let's give him. I'm asking you. Okay, hands and knees. Give him one more week. Joseph.
Really?
Give him one more week. We got to beat Auburn. Okay, and then you can have your meltdown. And I mean,
and then listen to this, Ryan Fowler. He did something even better. he explained why we was going to be successful this week.
There you go. There you go. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. I knew you had a positive ray of hope in you. Come on, Joseph. We got to beat these Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like Auburn either. They're Cal College down there that basically crap.
So if you don't like Auburn, then throw a little positive out here. Tell me why Jalen Milroe is going to be successful in your opinion.
But Ryan, I like Josh from College Football Nerds just said it. He just said that he thinks Auburn and Alabama match up good with one another because he thinks that our offensive line being at home will be able to gain a step on their defensive line, and he thinks that it would be like the issues are going to hide themselves. That's pretty much what he was saying. Like it's going to look like they got fixed, but they really didn't. But I mean, I'm just telling you what he said. But he says the issues pretty much going to look like they got fixed. They didn't because he's playing at home. But he says Alabama's probably going to be successful, which I agree with him. I think playing at home is going to make all the difference in the world. That's one of the reasons I picked Alabama to win 21-14. I think he said bigger. I'm like, oh dang, and I don't doubt what he said either because he's a smart guy.
Man, we got to beat these guys. And Joseph, how much enjoyment was it? Listen, I know it's not been the season. We all wanted a national title. We all wanted an SEC title. We all wanted this. We all wanted this. But Joseph, to be able to look at them bugs, to be able to stare at that blue and orange face, and to be able to say, you know what, even during our down years, you couldn't beat us. You couldn't beat us.
He hurt my feelings too, Ryan Fowler. I ain't gonna lie to you. Josh from College Football Nerds hurt my feelings too. He hurt them. Ryan Fowler. Because he said Ty Simpson wouldn't answer either. He said he looked like a deer in headlights. I'm like, oh man.
I've been trying to lead you down that rabbit trail, but you don't want to believe me. You don't want to believe me. He's not.
I mean, but Josh.
And listen, this spring, when we go into this quarterback competition, who knows? I mean, you may have a quarterback competition in the bowl practice. I don't know how Kalen DeBoer is going to handle it. I assume that he's going to give everybody a chance to. But you look at the three guys that we have. Let's just pretend right now that Jalen Milroe goes to the NFL. Okay, let's say that you got Dylan Lonergan, Ty Simpson, second string guy here now, and Dylan Lonergan and Austin Mack, and now you're going to add Keelan Russell to this.
Keelan Russell ain't no joke, Ryan Fowler. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, he won the Elite 11 MVP, the same award 201.
He's thrown 45 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Ryan Fowler, that kid ain't no joke. Like if he's got the head game when he gets to Alabama and he can pick up the game speed, that kid is going to be lights out, Ryan. But I heard an interesting stat today, Ryan Fowler. Maybe you can tell me it's true. I don't know. But they said from the Vanderbilt game all the way to Oklahoma, they said Milroe has thrown 3 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Thrown has passed for 3 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
I don't. Okay, let me say this. I think in an SEC game, he has thrown for 1 touchdown since the Tennessee game.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm trying to keep it positive today. But I didn't know if that was true, Ryan. But I'm just tell you, Ryan, Alabama's quarterback room, we going to be loaded probably next year. And I think whoever wins the job, Ryan Fowler, I believe I'm totally in on Josh from College Football Nerds. You're going to see a different Alabama football team next year.
Well, okay. I mean, but I think you okay. Yeah, but I mean, we'll get to. I think you got to bring some other talent in here. I think we all assume that there was tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of talent, and there is a lot of talent on this football team. But we've also got some shortcomings too. So they're going to have to get more. They're going to get more offensive line. They're going to have to get more linebackers. You're going to have to get more defensive backs. I mean, you got to play with a big number. But I wanted to go back through because you asked me a question. I want to make sure that I answer that question. All right, so let's just go. He threw 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions against Oklahoma, 2 touchdowns, but this is Mercer. He threw for 2, had 0 interceptions. LSU, he did not have a passing touchdown, did not have an interception either. The Mizzou game, he did not have a touchdown, but he did not have an interception either. Tennessee, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. So you got 1. South Carolina, he had 1 and 2 interceptions. And then Vanderbilt, he had 1. So, yeah, you're right. Okay, well, okay. You're right on that set. But I did not know it until you just pointed it out. He's 15-9, which is not great ratio. But listen, come on, Joseph. We're trying to keep this positive. Got to run, man. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day.
All right, Ryan.
Thank you. Let's go to Danny G and Foley. Danny, good afternoon. You're in the game.
No, this is Josephine, Joseph's mother. Y'all need to apologize to him. Y'all called him every name in the book, and it ain't a good book either. He played junior high football, and he knows his stuff.
Josephine, I'm so sorry that we've been making fun of your son. I apologize.
You better straighten up, Fowler.
You know what? I want to say this. That was actually really good, Danny G and Foley. I mean, it kind of sounded like a Josephine.
Well, it gets rough up here.
Look at Danny G on the day before Thanksgiving. Pop it in here. I knew the bugs would bring it out of you. I knew them old bugs would bring it out. You hate them so bad you can't not stay away on this week.
Well, that liquor talk got me going. I just wonder if
were you at the liquor store too?
No, I just wonder if he was buying the Mad Dog 2020 or if he's a Hennessy whiskey kind of guy. I'd like to know that. Next time he calls asking. But yeah, it's been way too much Oklahoma talk, my friend. We got to get that out of our system.
Well, I know. But we're on the 7 stages of grief, and we've not made it beyond probably like 3.
Well, we got to get our head out of you know what. But here's the deal. You might have to get your statistician up, but when's the last time we've lost a game before the Iron Bowl game?
Oh, Lord.
Wow. So we're in a new world right now.
Can I get back with you?
Yeah. I mean, we're in a double whammy world right now. So we got to get our crap together. We got to get Oklahoma off our mind. But let me shift over to NIL real quick. NIL won't kill college football, but it's killing us traditional football fans. You know what I mean? It's not the same anymore, Fowler. And I'm getting to the point where I just don't know if I trust college football anymore. And I'm not saying this because Alabama lost 3. It's not the same anymore. And like you said earlier, that's next time you see this coming, and that's why he got out. And I just wonder if Alabama, or not just Alabama fans, what traditional college football fans, are they going to be opting out? It's not the same.
You mean the fans? What do you think the fans could be opting out?
I mean, they won't kill college football, but I'm telling you, the fans, the traditional fans that's been around a while, they do not like this NIL transfer portal.
I was on a conference call a couple of weeks ago because I've heard all these politicians tell me how they want to fix college football, but they blame it on each party and this guy and this guy and this guy. I was on a conference call a couple of weeks ago. No, last week with Tommy Tuberville.
That sounds like a politician.
Well, and it does. And I said, all right, this was my question. I said, the judicial branch leans conservatively. You've got the executive branch that leans conservative. You've got both legislative branches that are conservative. What are you going to do about NIL? And he said that he thinks he can get something there to vote. And then he followed it up and said, we have no excuses. You have all 3 branches of the government. And even though most time conservatives lean with anti-government, this might be one for some government regulation. We need something to govern college football, and it ain't the NCAA. Or at least give them some power. They can restructure what they're trying to do because they've just thrown up their hands and said, forget it.
But Trump needs to probably, like to come up with Doge. He needs to come up with a committee, to govern this college football. And
why do you think? Why do you think Nick Saban's been up to Washington D.C. multiple times?
Well, Bama Nick needs to be up there with him. They'll get some stuff done.
You're going to put Bama Nick in charge of the NIL committee? Okay.
Well, he'll be on the committee like Elon, and take care of cutting the bull out. Got to get this back on track. But this just before the NIL, we went into that wild west where there was no repercussion for illegal activity. I mean, it was just everybody was doing what they wanted. It seemed like, right? And then the NIL come along and transport portal, and I don't know. It's taking a toll on me for enjoying this, the traditional football we used to know. And
is it because the players don't have the allegiance that they used to?
Exactly. Exactly. They're not playing for a team like they used to. They're not playing for the mama and daddies like they used to. And if they're not interested in playing, then I'm dang sure not going to be interested in watching it or paying the price of a ticket. Nowadays to come watch it if they don't have their heads in it. But they must have been practicing for Auburn because for 2 weeks because I sure didn't see any practice toward Oklahoma. But anyway,
maybe Kalen DeBoer's no dummy, and he says, you know what? Forget about Oklahoma. We got to beat Auburn.
Exactly. Maybe that's what he was doing, but here it is. We've been on a kind of a roller coaster year, and we've been, down, and I think we're going back up.
I'm joking, by the way, but yeah.
But I think we've been on a roller coaster year, and it's like an up and down. I think we was down last week, so I think we're going to be back up this week, and I'm going to go with a score of 38-20.
Oh, I thought you were going to go 63-3.
No, I went in favor of Dawson last week, and
it didn't work. Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody got that one. I'm not sure. Maybe
38 to what was it again?
38-20.
Okay, and then Jalen Milroe passing yards.
210.
Okay, I got it.
I'm kind of scared now when I do hear a lot of basketball talk right before the Iron Bowl. And we need to move on from Oklahoma and get on board. Let's go win this Iron Bowl.
Okay, thank you.
Say? All right,
let's go win it. I mean, this is for
you gonna be on air Friday.
Yes, I will be. But for the health of me, Kalen DeBoer needs to be able to win this game.
Exactly.
Because my wife is a true certified licensed practitioner.
You're going to have to just have a
she has a license. I do not. Okay. She has a license. I do not. Even though I play one on the air sometimes, and has anybody, Danny, has anybody heard from Corey in Trussville?
Corey? I don't know. I've halfway been listening. I'm up here in my little granddaughter's.
Oh, okay. Super cool.
And she's a handful.
All right.
She just come in the room. But yeah, I hope Corey's doing okay.
Well, hey, put her on the air. Put her on the air. We want to make her.
Well, she's only not quite 2 yet, so she just screams when.
Hey, can you get a Roll Tide out of her? Can you get a Roll Tide?
Can you say Roll Tide?
Yeah,
Roll Tide. She's got me by the finger. She's wanting something in the kitchen, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Danny G in Foley. Sounds like he's with family and friends. Hopefully you have an awesome Thanksgiving day. We're going to come back. We'll take more phone calls. Jacob, traveling down to the great state of Alabama. Let's take Jacob right here. Let's take him right here. Jacob, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan. How you doing?
Hey, good, Jacob. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, still laughing a little bit about that prank call.
One more time. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're laughing at me. I'm sorry. I played a prank on you. My bad. I like having fun.
Yeah, I get it. I do too. But first, I want to start off with how about that basketball team?
How about that basketball team?
How about them? Starting off ranked number 2. They're ranked number 9 right now. That's what I know. Whooping. Well, not whooping. That was a good old basketball game last night.
It was. Did you watch it? Did you stay up?
Well, I watched a good bit of it. Not all of it, but I watched a good.
Are you going to be able to make tonight's game?
No. Well, yeah. Actually, yeah. If we get home, we're going to the theaters here in a little bit.
Oh, okay. So are you're in the state of Alabama?
Yep, I'm right here at Fort Payne.
Okay, so is that where grandparents are at or family or?
Yeah,
okay.
With you.
Okay.
I'm wanting to drive to Tuscaloosa Friday and look at the stadium because I haven't seen the stadium in about 6 years.
Oh, okay.
I want to ride down to see the stadium and look around town.
Super cool. Go to the Bryant Museum, enjoy a little bit of activities, and
have a good old day in good old Tuscaloosa.
There you go. There you go.
But I'm surprised they're giving Alabama a chance at 13. My dad, we were sitting there watching the ranking. His heart was about to blow out of his chest. He said, he said, we're going to be ranked higher than Ole Miss, but I didn't think we'd be ranked 13. I said 16. My prediction was 16. We lose to Auburn, we're not going to be ranked.
Well, hopefully we're not going to lose to Auburn. I mean, Jacob,
if we lose to Auburn...
Now, Jacob, I want to ask you a quick question here.
Okay,
you said you were with some family. Is all of them Alabama fans?
Yep.
No Auburn fans in your family?
I have some Auburn fans in my family.
Okay.
And it's because their daughter went to college at Auburn.
Oh, okay. So they pull for Auburn. So she's not very smart, is what you're saying. Is what
they pull for both. There's a little bit of both.
Oh, okay, a little bit of both. Okay, I got you.
A little bit of both. You're there.
But what happened to the daughter? Did she just go rebellion and decide to be an Auburn fan? Okay, yeah.
She said, bye, Alabama. I'm going to go to the team that doesn't know how to win a national championship.
Well, what's her name? And I'll put her on the prayer list.
Oh, Ryan. Now, shit.
I'll put her on the prayer list. We'll pray for her. She can repent. You can always repent. You don't have to be a bug all your life.
That's low.
But do you like her though, the cousin? I mean,
yeah.
Okay. So you're still accepted.
I'm friends with all my family.
Okay, you're friends with all your family. Okay, gotcha. I got you.
But I don't choose to not like my family.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Sounds like you got a good family. Or most of them are good. Some of them are.
Now, in your March Madness bracket, after looking at Alabama, if they play like this all year, do you have them at least making it to the Final Four?
Wow. That's an early talk.
I know. I want to know that my dad.
See, this is a guy that lives in Indiana, and all the little Indiana kids have been smack talking him with basketball. All them little Indiana Hoosiers up there.
All my football team friends saying, IU's doing better than Alabama.
No. Tell them they don't know what they're talking about. Tell them
their championship case ain't doing too good.
Yeah, you look at them and tell them Assembly Hall's a dump. Which it's really not, but it sounds good. But listen,
honestly, I want Indiana to make it to the playoffs. The only reason is I want them to play Alabama, and I want them to come and play Indiana. And
up there. Now that's a thought.
And I can drive 52 minutes and watch Alabama beat Indiana if Alabama makes it to the playoffs.
You're my type of guy. He's already thinking ahead. He's got a positive mind on him.
I'm thinking way ahead. I'm already looking at. My friends have already starting to write down the bracket for March Madness, which I don't know why they're already doing that.
Because they're Hoosier fans. I mean, they think basketball. I mean, they're not celebrating the football season that has been.
No, I got one who is. He was our backup quarterback. Oh, about that, guess what?
What is it?
I got Offensive Player of the Year.
Did you really?
Yes, I
Kalen
did.
DeBoer, this might be your new hotshot quarterback up in Indiana. I mean, Kalen DeBoer's got ties back to Indiana.
I don't know. I mean, I want to. I'd do anything to play football for Alabama, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I mean, I didn't.
But nobody was. Mark Ingram wasn't at 14 years of age.
Yeah.
I mean, right? You're 14, 13, 14?
12.
12.
I'll be
Oh,
13.
okay. Well, I mean, Mark Ingram wasn't at 12 either. So, but
Wait a
we
minute.
believe in you, Jacob. Just work hard and do the best you can possibly do. And if you're here, if not, we're going to take you as an academic student because you're well on your way.
But I am going to try to come to Tuscaloosa Friday,
Okay.
and I'm going to come. I'm gonna break into your radio station and I'm going to talk live.
Okay. Seriously, look me up. But you'll have to call in, and we're located on Skyland Boulevard, 142 Skyland Boulevard. Come by and say hello to us.
I found you already.
Oh, he's already looked it up. I told you. I mean, this kid's a step ahead. I mean, Kalen DeBoer, this is your next quarterback, 2034, 2035, whatever it will be. So
I don't know. But can I put in
6 years. Yes, you can.
The next day, Jay McCarron.
I haven't heard him doing this. Can I put in a basketball and a football prediction?
You sure can. Yes, you sure can.
I'm going to go for the football game Saturday.
All right, hold on. I'm going to write it down.
You ready?
Okay, Alabama and Auburn. We call it the Cal College, but all right, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to go Alabama 28, Auburn 10.
28-10.
And you say total rushing yards?
No, we're going Jalen Milroe passing yards.
Oh, passing yards, not rushing. Okay. 223.
I got you. Hey, Jacob, you make me proud to be an Alabama fan. You're the type of guy that we like, man. Good, positive energy. Good to talk to you, Jacob. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And if you're in Tuscaloosa, look me up. I'd love to say hello to you.
Yeah, I would too, and I'll try.
All right. Thank you. I'd love to meet you. Thank you, Jacob.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Roll
Bye.
Tide. Hey, you didn't give me a basketball score.
Oh, I'm going to go, we're playing the Rutgers, right?
We are.
I'm going to go Alabama 92, Rutgers 84.
92-84. All right. Jacob, thank you, man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Ryan.
That's my type of guy right there. Jacob he's usually calling us from Indiana. He's a 12-year-old homeschool guy that brings a lot to our show. Thank you, Jacob. Hey, do you have timberland that you don't know what to do with? All of us love to go out and enjoy the beautiful outdoors, whether you're enjoying a park or whether you own your own land. I know it's one of my tranquilities. It's something I enjoy, just getting out, peaceful. Matter of fact, I may slip out, do a little deer hunting tomorrow. Hey, I did this past weekend. Had fun. Took my little nephew. Seen a deer. But, hey, we had a lot of fun. Enjoyed some time with him. But, hey, if you have timberland and don't know what to do with it, give North River Timber a call. It is Courtney White and his team of over 20 years of experience in West Alabama and East Mississippi, offering timber harvesting, timber appraisals, comprehensive management plans. As a registered forester in Alabama, Courtney and his team can help you decide how to maximize your highest potential for your land. Courtney always says, timber is like money in the bank. See what your investment can do for you. Contact Courtney White at 205-242-5127, North River Timber Company at gmail.com, North River Timber Company at gmail.com. And speaking of timber, don't forget about Northport Power Equipment on Friday. They're going to be open early. A lot of big-time Black Friday deals. We've been talking about that for several days now. A great way to save some money if you're thinking about Northport Power Equipment, 2 blocks east of Northport Civic Center. You're going to have the big deal is all Husqvarna, Echo, and Crest outdoor handheld tools, 15% off. And then we're offering Some great deals, one-day deals on the residential and garden tractors and zero turn mowers that you can find in both different models, chainsaws, pole saws, weed trimmers. It is our good friends at Northport Power Equipment. Let's continue with more phone calls, and we go to Mary. Mary in Georgia. Mary, good afternoon. You're in the game. Hey, Mary. Mary going once, going twice. All right, no Mary. How about Marty in Arkansas? Marty, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Good afternoon, Ryan. John, you know what? That guy that calls in and knocks Melrose, why don't he just say, I don't like him and I'm not an Alabama fan? Be real.
That'd be easier.
That's all I'm going to say about that. Well, let me go. I had a great time going over to the game. I went with two of the Oklahoma guys, and I kind of got ribbed coming back, and I said, you know what? You guys haven't found your Bud Wilkinson yet. But just like what they said, they had pride. Even though they were 5-5, that school still has pride in what they're trying to get back to. Just like Alabama, when we had the gun down, looking down our barrel, we still had pride and saying we found a better Bear Bryant, and he brought us out of the dust. But Ryan, you look at the Rams Philadelphia game, those tackles couldn't block Philadelphia at all. Our two tackles could not block those ends. And I don't care what you say. You go play quarterback, Ryan, and let them two tackles, those two big ends, come down on you and see how you play. He didn't have time. He did not have time. He didn't have. As soon as he got the ball, he was running for. He had, and the wide receivers didn't help him out. They dropped balls and like you said, he's a high energy guy and low. And when things started going bad, he does get down on himself. And there's a lot of people out here on this radio show. When things start going bad, even in life, they get down on themselves and they get down on Alabama and start talking on it. Even on our 14 chat, when things going to go bad in life, they start blaming Alabama or they start blaming something in life. No, all they got to do is look towards Thanksgiving and what happens after Thanksgiving, the miracle. And then life turns around. But, I mean, it's not. And let's don't get the cart before the horse like we did with football. We said good case scenario, bad case scenario. And I said 4 losses might be the worst. And I took a lot of hits. I said we could lose 4 games, but we could go undefeated. We could have lost 4. I hope we don't lose Saturday. I pray that, and I don't live in the state, but I know it's a big, and I don't like Auburn, but I hate the dirty orange worse than I hate Auburn. But Cal College, or whatever you call them, the bugs, they can go pick up trash with the other ones after we beat them. But, I mean, let's don't get down on this team.
Great reminder.
Because, I mean, he saved the team.
Marty, that's for Joseph. Yeah. All right. Hey, Marty, you got to give me a score, man. I'm trying to squeeze in as many people as I possibly can. I'm literally out of time right here at the end of the show.
All right. I'll go more about this. I'm going to go 35-13, 200 yards.
200 yards.
Ron, you have a good Thanksgiving. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving.
You do
and
as well.
You know what? And then a miracle will happen for us because that's what Christ did.
Amen. Thank you.
Roll Tide.
Marty, Arkansas. Let's go to Tommy and Romulus. Tommy Thunder, good afternoon. You're in the game.
How are you, Ron?
I'm good.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
And everybody else. And let's just get after the team. Build them up. Push them up. This is our team. And get behind them. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have to rant and rave. I'm just telling you, support our team through the good, the bad, the thick, and the ugly. Whatever happens, be Alabama fans. Support your team. Be proud of Alabama because nobody has a greater history in football than us. So be proud. We have 2 great coaches that won 6 national championships. No other one. Like Bruce said, Kalen DeBoer is going to get us back where we want it. It takes patience. If we go 9-3 this year, or 10-3, or 9-4, hey, the 16-year thing was going to have to come to an end. Rather come the end at the beginning instead of the middle of his team. So let's get this program going and don't sit on your hands, Daddy. Roll Tide. Happy Thanksgiving, Ryan Powell.
Tommy, you already got a score? Did you get a score? You did.
I
Okay.
did. I thought I did.
Yeah, 31-10. I'm sorry. I just looked at it. Got it. Thanks, man. Thanks,
Okay,
Tommy.
man. Have a good one.
Right back to you. Let's go to Jared in Houston, Texas. Jared, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Good afternoon, Ryan. How are you, my friend?
Oh, good, man. It's the Iron Bowl. It's a lot of excitement. We have the Kalen DeBoer show coming up at 6:30. Hey, Coach, starting at 6.
That's right. That's right. Hey, listen, I already put my score in yesterday. I just wanted to call and wish you and all the callers a happy Thanksgiving. And just tell everybody, keep your chin up. Alabama's going to have a big game this weekend. Get out and support them. Make sure if you got tickets, you go to the game. Don't sell them to any of the booger eaters.
Don't sell them to a book. Don't sell them to a book.
No. Go to the game. Cheer for your team. They're going to get it done. And everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Count your blessings. There's a lot that we have to be thankful for. And looking forward to a great weekend of football.
All right. Thank you, Jared. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you too, brother. Take care.
Thank you. Owe you a break right here, Jackson? Let me break right here. No, stay right here. Stay right here. Okay. We'll take the final few calls here at 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. We actually have line available. Can you believe that? We actually have one line available. I don't know if we've had that since like Friday of last week, and it may not have been then. Nuts. So we have 205-342-9904. We're doing a score prediction day, and let's go to Elias. Elias, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Roll Tide, Ron. How you doing today?
Man, I'm great. I hope you are as well. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Feeling a lot better today.
All right. Well, good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I go ahead and give you my score. I know others trying to get in.
Okay.
Going with the good guys, 28. The Suck, 17.
How you spell that? Is it S-A-U-C-K like Paul and Lincoln always says it?
In all caps.
In all caps. S-A-U. And the A-U stands for? As Paul would say, the Auburn Tigers.
Yes, sir.
All right. 28-17. Let's go Jalen Milroe passing numbers.
I think he's going to go for 189. I think this weekend is going to be the Jam Miller, Justin Hayes show this weekend.
Come on, run it down their throat. Make them like it. Oh, I love it. Oh, that would fire me up. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Elias, I appreciate you. And I appreciate your service, and I hope you have an awesome Thanksgiving. I thank you for being a part of our show.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and please have a safe Thanksgiving holiday. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. We've got just a few more minutes. Let me squeeze in Mary in Atlanta. Mary, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan.
How are you, Mary?
Doing good. I'll be quick since I know everyone's trying to give their score, but I think it's going to be 27 Alabama, 14 Auburn.
27-14. Jalen Milroe passing numbers where we're going. Trying to salute the quarterback at the University of Alabama.
I'm going to say 265.
265. 27-14, 265. I got it, Mary. Thank you.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Thank you, Mary. Let's continue, and we'll try Ellis in Manchester, Tennessee. Ellis, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Good afternoon, Ryan Powell.
Roll Tide.
Got the pellet grill going right now.
Ooh, what you cooking?
Turkey.
Ooh, and this was last year or year prior's grand prize winner. Picked up the pellet grill, courtesy of RecTech and many other great goodies. Ellis, I got 2 minutes. I'm trying to squeeze in 2 more calls. You got a score for me?
42-21.
42. Oh, my Lord, I like this. It's like, you know what? That may be the biggest score. That may be the biggest score we've had. 42-21.
It's a Dawson score.
Pat had 42-17. I'm sorry. Passing yards for Jalen Milroe.
195.
Got it. 195. I got it. Thank you, Ellis.
Roll Tide. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Appreciate you, man. Let's go to Alf. Alf, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Ryan, listen, nobody calls in the show anymore because it's too crowded.
you can't get in. So I guess the show's doing pretty darn well, isn't it?
Well, and I'm very thanctful for that here on a Thanksgiving Day.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, nobody deserves it like you guys do.
Thank you.
31-29 is me.
31-29?
And I'm going with an Alabama win.
Okay. Whoa,
I know I take a lot.
I know
I take a lot of heat. 31-29, and I think Milrose is going to. I think 190 for the passing.
All right, good. I got it, Al. Thank you, man. Roll Tide.
All right, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Final call. Let's go to Brett in Mobile. Brett, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Roll Tide still.
Roll Tide. It's
Yes,
rolling.
sir.
It's rolling, baby.
Yes, sir. I guess Jekyll or Hyde. Which one's best?
I got about a minute right here left.
All right. Okay.
I'm trying not to crack up.
24-23.
Who?
You guess.
Jalen Milroe passing numbers.
179.
I believe
179.
Okay, I got it.
179.
I believe I heard a Kit Kat in the background going.
Yes,
"What?"
he's here.
What?
Roll Tide, everybody.
Yeah.
Roll Tide, Brian, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad.
Yes, all right.
You guys
All right.
be good.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Roll Tide. All right.
Thank you. All right, so a lot of fun that we've talked about right here on the program. Simon, thank you so much. Appreciate all the service. Jackson, I assume you're going to make it back to Hoover, Alabama.
I'll be heading there in 15 minutes.
Okay. What you cooking? What you carrying? What are you carrying?
I'm bringing myself. My presence alone.
You're not going to be cooking like homemade pecan pie, macaroni and cheese?
That'll all be already prepared.
Oh, does mom cook or does she cater?
She cooks.
Okay.
Mama cooks. Grandma cooks.
Sounds like a really good week. Hey, El Gran Patron, right there on McFarland Boulevard. If you're looking for a great Mexican place, go see Carlos and all the guys. Dos Amigos is his other one up on 69 North. Appreciate you guys. Man, we've had a lot of fun. Tons and tons and tons and tons of fun. Hey, let's go beat those Auburn Tigers. We'll be back on Friday. We'll be live. Kalen DeBoer coming up at 6:30 here on Hey Coach, 7 o'clock. Tide pregame show, getting you ready for hoops, Alabama and Rutgers, Hunter and White and all the guys. Hey, reminding you that we call this program The Game. And the only way that you can win the big game, the game of life, is to walk daily with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Good night, T-Town.
Listening to The Game with Ryan Fowler, powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Thanksgiving travelers are a little on the patchy side, not heavy, but on Skyland Boulevard. You do have the on and off the brakes action in between 2059 and 359. 359 has teeny tiny slow goes right there at Skyland Boulevard, and you can find that in both the north and south.
RexMD.com with generics, if appropriate. Visit TryRexMD.com right now to get your sample pack. That's TryRexMD.com.
The best sports talk show in all of Alabama. The Game with Ryan Fowler, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.